All right, I'm in. Do you want me to kick it off, or do you have any
We
words?
are right on time. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone, wherever you are, and welcome back to the Global Advanced Air Mobility Forum 2025. Well, yesterday we had an incredible start with inspiring discussions and innovative ideas. And today, for day two, we are honored to have 25 lessons representing recent advancements in advanced air mobility from 25 different countries, as well as two keynote speakers and two guest speakers who will share their insights and expertise. To guide us through today's session, we are delighted to introduce our moderator, David Levin. Without further ado, I'll hand over the stage to David to kick off today's first session. David, you have the floor.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Amin. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Um, Definitely privileged to be here. I'll share just a minute or two about my background so you guys can get to know me a little bit, and then I'll hand it off to the first keynote. I'm the host of a weekly podcast called This Week in Drones. And so that keeps me close to a lot of folks that are in the industry. And great to have collaborative conversations like this as well quite often. But then my day job is with Echodyne Radars, so I get to be involved in both the support for the AAM industry from a surveillance technology standpoint, but then my world really crosses over and blends with the counter UAS, counter drone side of the house, just with the radar systems. And that's actually why Dan Sloat originally reached out to me to be, with the AAM because of that kind of cross-pollination between those two. So my title, my senior advisor position actually has counter UAS or counter drone in kind of as the specialty to it. So hopefully bringing unique perspectives in that. And I'll just say a lot of the projects I'm involved in here, primarily here in the US, are actually a blend of both supporting drone delivery and then, of course, in the future, the larger EV tolls at cities. But the cities that I'm working with, there's a couple of things going on. I'll just give you just a little snippet here. They're getting big waivers to fly under a certain elevation as long as they fly shielded over their, different cityscapes and getting, able to fly over huge areas in some major cities. But the interesting thing is, they still end up wanting to make sure that they can have that single pane of glass where they have all the data points coming in and avoid potential crashes for the kind of AAM BV loss side of things beyond visual line of sight. But then these big cities are also concerned with what's going on globally with drones, overseas from us. And so they're actually literally putting into one system, again, both the enablement of their drones for these huge waivers they're getting to fly for like drone as first responder and search and rescue and everything. But they're literally at the exact same time just as concerned about, knowing what aircraft and drones and what's flying over their airspace. As you guys probably saw, the New Jersey drone sightings that happened recently, that was a big, issue and kind of frenzy that happened here. And so I get to be part of both conversations and very, very interesting world of what's going on. So with that said, I mean, feel free to reach out at any point, and I'd love to continue to network with you guys and support this industry however I can. Um, so so with that, I'll pass it to the first keynote. And assuming everybody's ready to go, if Sue is here, I can
Yeah.
pass it off. Yeah, are we good there?
Yeah,
So
we're good.
awesome. So yeah, Sue Carr with NASA, first keynote. Take it away.
Hi. Sorry, I'm going to try and work this from here. Hi, everyone. My name is Sue Kaur. I'm an integration strategist for the Air Traffic Management Exploration Project at, also called ATMX for short. I'm also a STEM communicator based out of NASA Ames Research Center in Silicon Valley. Just to give a brief overview, NASA has a long history of supporting aviation, and in fact, the first A in NASA stands for aeronautics. NASA flight and research centers are all across the United States, all working on different facets of aviation and spaceflight research. So there's quite a lot of collaboration that happens across these centers, leveraging each other's specialties and capabilities. There are several mission directorates at NASA. We fall under ARMD, which focuses on research, development, testing of aviation technology advancements, all which benefit humankind. Now, ARMD has several programs aimed at transforming the future of aviation. These projects partner with the Federal Aviation Administration, academia, safety experts, operators, manufacturers, municipalities, and other government agencies. We are within AOSP, which is enabling airspace access for new entrants, facilitating safe integration of new aviation technologies, supporting increasingly autonomous operations, all with the purpose of fostering the growth, but also addressing the complexity of advanced air mobility. ATMX is one project within AOSP, and as you'll see in the next slide, it's a very diverse portfolio supporting the modernization of today's air transportation system. It looks at everything from data exchange and platforms to remotely supervised missions to high altitude operations. So, integrated approach, we are trying to discover the opportunities and gaps to enable the aviation industry. We're facilitators who bring stakeholders together to get them talking and working together. We inform standards bodies and leaders in the industry of what is feasible and what warrants further research. We're testing and validating using advanced simulation as well as near realistic conditions in field labs. And ultimately, we want to tech transfer our research to stakeholders and partners, which includes the FAA. So this is the ATMX portfolio, which includes 4 sub-projects. The first is DIP, which is an information platform prototyping a digital framework leveraging machine learning for predictive services. The second is UTM BIVLOS, which is utilizing UTM for safe and efficient use of drones in our everyday lives. PAVE is testing and validating tools and services for remotely piloted operations. And next is looking ahead. It's looking at the rules of the road, situational awareness, deconfliction, and fostering overall growth in upper class E. So as you can see, the projects cover a wide breadth of research areas. And we look at technical needs from ground all the way up to 60,000 feet and actually even above 60,000 feet. What makes ATMX unique and exciting is our holistic approach to integration, which is centered around interoperability. Yes, we need these individual technologies and capabilities to function safely and efficiently in their own domain, but we also need them to work together in a collaborative and complementary fashion. So with scalability in mind, we are asking research questions like, what does it take to integrate remotely piloted or autonomous planes carrying large packages or cargo safely into the US airspace? How can we synthesize multiple innovative technologies across different airspace classes? What kind of interactions result from multiple layered integrations? And we are not doing this work alone. The ATMX works very closely with the FAA and our commercial partners, industry partners, relevant stakeholders, industry experts and relevant stakeholders to try and evaluate the impacts of these emerging mobility solutions. We also have domestic and international cooperations through which we research and validate advances in computing, communications, and increasingly automated technologies. And we support the FAA and UAS operators at the FAA Key Site in North Texas, which is field testing initial BIVLOS operations in low altitude class G for missions that include package delivery and public safety operations. I know I've covered a lot. If you'd like to read a bit more about what I've talked about, what I've touched on, here are some additional web pages and articles, and I can be found on LinkedIn by my name, or there's the URL. Thank you very much for your time.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Great information. Well, with that, I am going to introduce Sasha Wetzel, our liaison here at the AAM Institute to New Zealand. Sasha, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, well, good evening for us and good morning for the ones that are in Europe and UTC time. Yeah, for 2024, we've had a couple of discussions already. So unfortunately, I'm not going to have a ton to report about our growth in the last period, but one exciting piece that I can mention here. But to give a brief overview, I'm from AVFoil. For the ones that haven't met you, we have done a lot of work around promoting aviation with our media, and we have a magazine, Chronicles, and we do a lot of online presence. I come from helicopter background and aviation supply chain networks, so done a lot around speaking on the future of flight, and obviously understand the business models a lot is where a lot of my strengths are. So I'll just run you through some stuff that's happened in New Zealand. Obviously, we're going from strength to strength in our aerospace, which is not air mobility, but it connects a lot with New Zealand and its ability to be in the future of flight. So we're doing really well there on the Rocket Lab side, and we've had some great conferences that have connected with all of those players, everything from air mobility right through drones, and obviously we've got our space plane coming out over there in Christchurch as well with Dawn Aerospace. New Zealand Airports come out with an action plan, which was interesting. Had some good points. They come up with a 6-point plan, and it talked about a lot of the things that people talk about in air mobility. And so this is growing the economy through better connectivity and, like more use, basically. New Zealand's obviously, as I made people aware in the last one, the highest aircraft owner per capita ratio in the world, and the town that I'm in is roughly around 1,500 aircraft per person. So we are the highest in the world, and we run around 150 helicopters alone within this small little region that do everything from farming right through to sticking your arch structure on the top of your house, as well as all the normal things. They went into low emission goals as well. That was goal number 2. Obviously, that's the usual one that we're seeing. That's a lot of around fuel usage, ATM, air navigation. Obviously, that's what you just touched on there with the ATMX. Coordination across the government to elevate aviation is really key. Future-proofing airports. Obviously, this is a big infrastructure, and we've seen the recent purchase of some of the vertiports companies. That would have been an interesting one in the US. And obviously, 6, boosting the resilience of aviation. And this is really around fuel storage, solar panels that they've put in and around airports, and Christchurch being one of the more meaningful ones that have taken that great step forward and put the solar panels in to sell to the local industry until they're ready. Beta Aviation has done the deal with Air New Zealand, and Alia and their CTOL will be coming down here next year. So that's a pretty big deal. Huge step for the airline, and they're going to be doing testing and then running freight initially. And there is some aeromedical talk before we go to passengers. So that raises my next point, which is we're seeing a lot of stuff around focus on cities and congestion reduction for air mobility. We're still, on my side, a very strong believer that this is not really where we're going to see the initial growth. We're probably going to see it in the rural sectors and into cities, and certainly the longer distance runs. A lot of drone activity and freight and delivery work. It's really a fleet-wide growth that we're probably looking at as being our major scenario, rather than this huge focus, which is really easy to pull apart around this urban mobility. It isn't to say that it isn't important. It isn't to say that it isn't going to be a big part of it. It's to say it is not really what is going to be the easiest thing to achieve first. So we should be careful about how we promote that. And obviously, being behind a media company that covers everything from helis, business jet, future of flight, drones, SAF, and now aerospace, we're really careful to make sure that we're telling the whole story. Coming up to the end of the 5-minute run here, which is pretty short. So I'll just say good luck to everyone. Certainly tons of energy still out there, and we may be getting some more money this year. Let's see if the new administration in the US can help us, because it's been a pretty slow year in 2024. So looking forward to 2025. And obviously I'm here on LinkedIn if anyone wants to promote themselves or just talk about where we can help them. And that's me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sasha. That was great. Appreciate it. And everybody's keeping it nice and tight on the presentations. Appreciate that as well. We are right on time. So Min Shin from South Korea, our liaison there, is free to take the screen. Min, hope you're doing well. Go for it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Min. I'm with the Mobiation. We are the Korea's first air mobility service platform that does helicopter and jet charter for the time being, and we're hoping to operate eVTOLs in the future. I'm going to go ahead and upload my presentation. So just to talk about the industry milestones within South Korea, Joby did a test flight completion successfully in South Korea. It was the first time that Joby test flighted their aircraft in South Korea. And Incheon Airport and KAC plans to build vertiports by 2027. They're working hard to make out the plans, and I think everything is on schedule. And on the regional side, many regional governments within Korea are competing to become the first UAM incorporated cities. So a lot of governments in the regional areas are investing heavily on the infrastructure to make sure they could operate the UAM and eVTOLs on a timely manner. As for the private sector, the two major companies in Korea are investing heavily to stimulate UAM in South Korea. Those are Hyundai and Hanwha. Hanwha discontinued investing in over-air last year due to some internal problems within the over-air that I think had some setbacks on their manufacturing side. But they're really focusing more on the software developments, and they're hoping to create a traffic management system within the UAM ecosystem. Hyundai is still on track to manufacture their eVTOLs. They have the Supernal project, and they have the main branch based out of Irvine, California in the US. I think their milestone is still on schedule, but the launch date has been pushed back a little bit to anywhere between 2028 and 2030. The public sentiment has been a bit of cautious on the air mobility after the fatal incident with the Jeju Air last month. I think a lot of you heard about the tragic incident that happened with the Jeju Air that had quite a setbacks on the overall air mobility industry in South Korea. And also on the government side, politically, we had a martial law declarations by the president, which also has been a bit of a negative effect on the progress of overall businesses and operations in South Korea, especially in the private jet sector. A lot of inbounds has been canceled, and the usage of that has declined significantly. But we believe that it's a temporary event, and the demand is going to decline soon. And the all aerospace regulators, their hands are tied at the moment for the investigation of the Jeju Air. So any regulatory progress regarding UAM is going to be delayed for another 6 months to 12 months for the time being. As for the upcoming events in South Korea, we have the annual KUAM Conference that's coming in November 2025. It is one of the largest UAM conference in South Korea that's backed by Incheon City. Last year, it was a very successful event. We had a lot of major airport authorities around the world that participated in the event, as well as some stakeholders in the UAM. And it's scheduled to hold on November 2025. MOLIT, which is a Ministry of Transportation in South Korea, is planning to do a test flight, a couple of UAM routes within the Seoul city as early as late this year or next year, 2026. On the public sector, regulators and politicians are pushing hard to commercialize UAM. However, due to the recent incident with the Jeju, we anticipate a bit of setback on the regulatory side. The general aviation is still expected to grow in South Korea. It really hasn't been active until now, but we start seeing quite a demand on that part of the sector, which we believe will be a good foundation for UAM operation in the future. Again, there has been some setbacks, but despite of that, then there's still strong willingness to commercialize UAM in South Korea, both from the private and public sector. Just talking about our projects, Moviation launched the Korea's first air mobility service under our brand Bonaire last year on June. We started with the helicopter operation, and we are scheduled to launch our jet charter service as early as first quarter of 2025. And it's going to be the first jet charter service in South Korea. And we are planning to operate eVTOLs as early as 2028 in South Korea. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions about South Korean market, you can always reach out to me through email min@moviationair.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Min. Really appreciate that. Inspired to hear how you guys are progressing despite some of those challenges, man.
Yeah,
All
it's a difficult time, but it's still very strong. Yes.
Absolutely. No, and it is inspiring to just be part of this whole collaborative effort all around the world, right? Because I mean, some of us get acceleration and then others some setbacks, but I think it's exciting to hear what the mentality and the innovation, and so we'll keep it up. All righty. So next, I'm going to introduce Afiq Azari from Malaysia, our liaison to Malaysia. So Afiq, if you want to take over the screen, feel free, and I'll pass it to you.
Thank you. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Can you hear, guys?
Yeah, you sound great.
Right. Great. Right. I'm trying to share right now the screen for my presentation. Share this one. Okay, if you can see in front of you is the title, and my name is Afiq Azari. I'm from Malaysia, and it is an honor to present Malaysia at this global forum, actually. Today, I humbly share Malaysia's journey in advanced air mobility, our milestone, challenges, and contribution toward a sustainable, inclusive future in aviation. I also want to acknowledge the collective efforts of those advancing in this field, even if the time limit prevents me from highlighting every incredible initiative. So Malaysia's journey in advanced air mobility is marked by meaningful milestones. The Malaysian Aviation Decarbonization Blueprint set an ambitious target at the net zero emissions by 2050. The National Advanced Air Mobility Regulatory Sandbox, spearheaded by Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia and Futurize, provide a secure environment for testing and innovative technologies like UAS or even eVTOLs. Our progress is also driven by strategic partnership. Vola Air Mobility and Unique Amiat, a local aviation institution, are advancing certification for the RX-4E electric aircraft. Asia, in collaboration with Skyport's Hart Aerospace, is focusing on vertiport development and also hybrid electric solution. Meanwhile, Volocopter and Malaysian Airport Holding Berhad are conducting feasibility studies for integrating urban air mobility into Malaysia's infrastructure. So recently, past 2 hours, I just came back from the 3rd AAM Industry Study Workshop organized by MITE and Futurize, brought together key stakeholders to align strategic priorities. This workshop emphasized on talent development, infrastructure, financial ecosystem, and public engagement. It was also announced that the Malaysian Advanced Air Mobility Industry Report, which consolidates all this insight, will be launched at the upcoming Lima 2025. This approach will serve as a roadmap for Malaysia's approach in the Asian advanced air mobility ecosystem. As advanced air mobility emerged as a transformative industry, public sentiment in Malaysia is both encouraging and reflective of important challenges. Many see the potential to reduce urban congestion and enhance connectivity, especially in underserved areas. STEM education program introduced drones as a pivotal in inspiring the next generation. One success story comes from STEM engagement in underserved schools, where drone education has empowered young minds to see the possibilities within the advanced air mobility. This program provides not just skill but also hope, showing students that they can too contribute to shaping the future of aviation and mobility. This is the inspiration that drives us to make advanced air mobility more accessible to everyone. So Malaysia is proud to host two significant events in 2025. Langkawi International Maritime and Aerospace Exhibition, or LIMA 2025, is taking place in Langkawi, a beautiful island. This May, we showcase aerospace advancement, including advanced air mobility technologies. Later, the Drone Tech Asia 2025 in Kuala Lumpur will bring together industry leaders to discuss drone and advanced air mobility innovation. These platforms are invaluable for collaboration and progress. Malaysia's journey and advanced air mobility is both exciting and challenging path. At the heart of our efforts is a commitment to sustainability with a clear target of achieving net zero emissions in aviation by 2050. We envision advanced air mobility as a seamless component of our urban and regional connectivity, linking communities and enabling growth. These opportunities ahead are immense, from developing a skilled workforce through education and training to fostering partnerships that drive innovation and build critical infrastructure. However, challenges remain. Balancing rapid innovation with robust regulatory framework and addressing public perception will be key to ensuring inclusivity and trust. We remain hopeful and determined. By uniting industry players, policymakers, and communities, Malaysia has the potential to become a regional leader in advanced air mobility, creating a future that is sustainable, inclusive, and transformative for all. For the last one is on my project, Q Aero Technologies Sdn Bhd. There is a bootstrap startup that develop programs and technologies for the electric aviation market. We believe in enabling electric flight for all. Our efforts begin with Hari Boleh Terbang, a flagship initiative designed to inspire youth and prepare them for the roles in the future of aviation. Through immersive experiences enabled by Digital Flight Experience Kit and supported by the Drone Saraka campaign, we are creating opportunities where they are needed most. Building on this, our national drone initiative, which focus on three critical areas: exposure programs to introduce electric aviation concept to underserved communities, club establishment to create hubs of learning and collaboration, and innovation challenges that encourage youth to think creatively and solve real-world problems. This initiative aligned with our three key pillars. Future organization is at the heart of what we do, addressing the anticipated skill workforce and shortage. By preparing individuals with the knowledge and tools needed for tomorrow's aviation industry. Along this, we are advancing electric aircraft development and nurturing an electric aviation ecosystem that will support sustainable innovation. Ultimately, our vision is simple yet ambitious: to democratize access to electric flight, ensuring it becomes a cornerstone of sustainability and inclusive future for aviation. This is just the beginning. Together, we can prepare a new generation to lead the transformation of this industry. And to that, I am Afiq Azari. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you so much, Avik. I will pass it to TJ Ko from our liaison to Taiwan, and TJ, you are free to take your full time as well. I believe the next person in the lineup is not able to make it, so you can take that slot.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep. I can hear you well.
Okay. Sorry. So, not sure if you can see my slide right now.
I cannot see any slides right now.
Okay. Let me take this. Sure. Good. Can you see my slide now?
There it is. All right, you got your 5 minutes. Go for it.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm TJ. I'm the founder and CEO of Dynavastron Inc. of Taiwan. We're providing drone solutions and subsystem design and integration for all the drone company and UAV companies all across the world, specifically from the allies from Indo-Pacific and NATO as well. So I'm here to talk a little bit about the status quo of the regulatory environment here in Taiwan to the UAS and AAM from the especially to our authority, the Civil Aviation Authority in Taiwan. So the outline is distinguished into two aspects for the UAS and the Advanced Air Mobility Roadmap here in Taiwan. So it's actually coming from the regulator perspective can be split into four aspects. For the airspace above and under 400 feet, the authority would belong to local government, I mean city or county government, or to the central government of Taiwan CAA. And also it requires to have the drone and UAV registration or type certificate. And also the pilot will need to get through 3 levels of different pilot license and test to acquire the pilot license. And also for its operational, it requires the licensed pilot, including the licensed operator, which means the companies, they need to be registered. It needs to be all under management by the government to like in avoid of any unwanted accidents. So, and also otherwise they may also have some punishments if anybody just violated such regulations. And for our airspace management, our government also holds a national geography identification system, which we call the GIS. You can like reserve for which airspace you want to fly by when, by whom, under which company, and the pilots and the utilized drone or UAV to be registered or certified. So therefore it can prevent any incident as well. So and also including all the, it can be conducted in all the mobile devices. And the US current statistics is here. The registered drone and UAV above the toy level 250 grams are I think it's already above 40,000 units here in Taiwan. And for the type certificate above 25 kilogram mass, there are already more than 7 types, and there are 23 SKUs or models already been certified. And the licensed pilots are nearly 30,000 pilots here in Taiwan for drones and UAVs. And the companies are running like more than 1,800 companies are running those services here. And currently, we're utilizing the remote ID, including the broadcast method and massive method. And now the restricted zones are set up by the central government, and the future will also add on with some more restricted areas by the local government as well. And here we also have some technical like the association from Taiwan CAA and the JCAP from Japan. So here our UAS certification can be categorized into according to its mass. So by under 2 kilogram and larger and heavier all the way until above 25 kilogram. By under 25 kilogram, you only need some documents submitted and like a preset. But if that's the mass is above 25 kilogram, you need to have the actual drone to do the conducted test and validation. So that is some slightly difference. And there are already those types of unmanned airplane and helicopters and multi-rotors here. And also for other future eVTOLs above 150 kilograms will also be regulated. And the type certification process, I would just skip. And there are some examples like for the helicopters and the agricultural or some surveillance UAVs here in Taiwan. So our government also hosted some of the proof of concept, proof of service, and proof of business like a project here in Taiwan. For the previous 2 years, they have conducted, I think 4 companies have attended for the larger cargo drones, which is the payload above 80 kilograms. So they have tested for the rural mountain area or some remote island deliveries, etc., like including the EMS, emergency medical services as well. So some special cases here, like here is a local unmanned helicopter drone. They have integrated the indigenous developed hydrogen fuel cell testing because Taiwan's geography is having quite high altitude differences. So also tested to the peak of our Pearl Mountain above 3,800 meters height, and also some remote island as well for stronger, better counter wind capabilities here. So some of larger UAS special certification also tried here for the past few years, proof of concept project like this one, the maximum takeoff weight is nearly 150 kilogram as here. So I will just skip the parts of those subjects and the testing criteria of UAS and the approaches of those different subsystems of the UAS. And it also can be separated into different phases of vision line operation and BB loss as well for the flight test of the UAS here. And this is the 30 kilogram hydrogen UAS certification subjects as for your reference. So because the slides is like 32 pages, and I also have some more information, so I gotta be accelerate. Here in southern Taiwan, we also have set up a UAS R&D test center. This is the phase 1 campus. Right now, they are expanding to the phase 2 because this one is obviously been fully occupied. So for some local drone solution and technology developments, and also some government labs like the military-led NCSIS for the larger, all the way up to 12 meter times 20 meters large UAV, and also the I3 for the government-led industrial technology research institutes. And our advanced air mobility roadmap here in Taiwan, including the pilot licensing, operator approval, flight operations, and airspace management and registrations. I think we have the roadmap by 2027 to 2028. We're going to introduce and conduct the eVTOL trial run here. And that obviously last year, in end of March, we just set up the very first eVTOL conference seminar here in Taiwan. We have to present at that event with the German battle volocopter and also some vertiport companies. I think that was AAM. And then also the Japanese eVTOL company SkyDrive have set up a trilateral MOU here with Taiwanese partners. So the development enablers here, including those key factors, air corridor, UTM, public acceptance. Currently, we only have one government side UTM operator, which is CHT, the Singhua Telecom, which is a state-owned telecom service. And also with their own government UTM system. Because our ATM is currently dominated by Thales. That's all for the UTM. In the near future, perhaps some other existing players could be Thales or could be RTX. Maybe Collins Aerospace, maybe they're also going to get into this market. So I think this is the pretty new. We're waiting for some sophisticated and mature solution coming to our market, because we are a country with 77 of our landscape in mountain area, and we are in the Pacific Rim with frequent earthquakes. So I think that the advanced air mobility would be highly adopted by our government, and our government attitude is very open, and they are very aggressively working with both FAA and NASA and also JCAB to reach the alignment of the regulations. And apparently, Taiwan CAA also had the bilateral agreement with UK CAA, the tech certification of those aircraft, the AAM as well. So few months ago, the Taiwan CAA also held an event inviting the experts from both FAA and NASA and JCAB to attend that event to ensure the alignment. And very recently, FAA also just assigned a new person in charge to be deployed in the APAC region to promote and ensure the alignment of the regulations for advanced air mobility from the United States and to the APAC region as well. So I believe that'll be in a very good positive influence. So I just share some of those information to our guests and audience here, and also share that my company, we are working on the decoupled more solutions from Taiwan to all the UAV companies. Okay, so thank you. So this is my sharing. I hope if you need any AAM or UAV, UAS relevant information, you can feel free to contact me here from Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, TJ. Really appreciate it. So next, our liaison to India. I don't see on here right now, but I'll give you a chance. It's Ratandeep Tripathi. If you're out there, you can jump on and share your slides and share about what's going on in India. Otherwise, I'll give it 10 seconds or so, and we will move forward to the next. But that was a great presentation, TJ. A lot of good information. Reminds me a lot of what's going on here in the US as well. And I'm very curious what you guys are doing for the geofencing, which we can't get into now, but just a little caveat, shoot me a note on that. Geofencing for drones over critical infrastructure, since in the US, you all probably saw, but DJI just retracted that capability. So there's no longer, 80% of the drones flying about in the US that used to have a geofence locking them down from being able to fly over an airport, for example, now could just fly freely with maybe a little notification to the pilot. So that was a pretty big shift. So we need to figure that one out here in the US. If anyone has ideas, shoot me a note. With that said, I'm going to move forward to our liaison to Sri Lanka, who sent in a recording for us to watch here. That's Wanyar Shig Maduka Kalyana, and I'll pass it to Amin to play the video. Thank you.
Hi. Good day to you all. And thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm Maduka Wanyarashige, liaison from Sri Lanka, aerodrome safety inspector by profession, and it's a pleasure to share insights with you today. Sri Lanka, the pearl of the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka is a developing island nation located in South Asia, home to approximately 20 million people. Our economy thrives on agriculture, tourism, exporting tea, rubber and coconut, textiles and IT services. So when we talk about industry milestones, Sri Lanka is in the early stages of adopting advanced air mobility technologies, with no major initiatives or trials yet. The focus remains on recovering from economic challenges and essential industries. AAM holds potential for improving connectivity to remote areas and boosting tourism by enhancing access to attractions. Progress is limited to using drones in agriculture and disaster management. Legislative advancements are pending, but future opportunities align with global sustainability goals, supporting advanced tourism and better transport options. So, about public sentiments, the sentiment toward advanced air mobility and unmanned aerial systems in Sri Lanka is mixed, with positive and negative reactions. Concerns include safety, privacy, job losses, and environmental impact, especially in a recovering economy. However, many see the potential of AAM to improve connectivity, boost emergency responses, and aid tourism. Success stories such as drones used for disaster management and agriculture have gained public support, fostering acceptance of these technologies and highlighting their long-term benefits for communities. So when we talk about upcoming events with a new government, Sri Lanka is focusing on rapid development and adapting to global advancements. Key areas include advanced air mobility, which can transform transportation, tourism, and infrastructure. As the country recovers from economic challenges, the government aims to explore opportunities in AAM, fostering innovations and growth. New initiatives and partnerships are expected in this sector. Civil Aviation Authority Sri Lanka also collaborates with global aviation bodies to address future needs. So when we conclude this, the future of advanced air mobility in Sri Lanka offers opportunities to improve connectivity, boost tourism, and innovative transport infrastructure. With government support, AIM can attract global partnerships, drive technology growth, and extend Sri Lanka global presence. Challenges include public trust, regulations, and infrastructure investments needs. Overcoming these while leveraging new technologies is crucial to unlocking AIM's full potential for the country's development. Thank you very much. I'm Madhuka Vaniyarachige, liaison from Sri Lanka.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. That was great. Now I am going to introduce Fahad Al-Riyami from Oman, our liaison to Oman. So go ahead and take it away, Fahad.
Thanks, David, and thank you all for attending the session. I'm going to share my screen, and do let me know if the slides don't change.
Sure thing.
Okay, do you see the slides?
I see all of the slides. I don't know if they're going to change when you go through them.
How about now?
There we go. That's better.
All right. Okay, so my name is Fahad Al-Riyami. I'm the founder of AeroVector, an eVTOL manufacturer, and I'm also a senior advisor at the Advanced Air Mobility Institute. So today I'll be walking you through the advanced air mobility developments in Oman. So Oman has achieved notable milestones in the advanced air mobility / unmanned aircraft system sectors. We saw the launch of the first Omani-made drone, Star Drones. The manufacturer is also working on building the first commercial drone factory in the country. This year, US-based Otis Aviation and our local public transport company, Mwasalat, will start eVTOL logistic trials. We also have companies such as Asbar and Ibn Farnas Drone Center already implementing UAS solutions in the energy and agriculture sectors with both commercial drones and with beyond visual line of sight aircraft. And on the software side, we've got local companies developing traffic management system and surveillance applications for UAS management. Previously, we've also seen drone delivery trials for parcel and food, and we have the country's first eVTOL OEM working on developing aircraft for public transport. So there's already a lot happening in the space. In terms of the laws and policies, Oman Civil Aviation Authority is leading these efforts. It has introduced, regulations covering operation, use cases, training, licensing, and certification. The Omani government, through the Ministry of Transport, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Commerce, is actively supporting AAM and UAS initiatives with both its own trials and with the private sector. So these regulations are vital really to promote innovation, but also to ensure the safe integration of AAM and UAVs in Oman. So looking at the public sentiment towards AAM and UAS in the country, it is increasingly positive, thankfully. Success stories include expanded use of UAS in search and rescue operations and agriculture, and the growing level of Oman's investment in AAM and UAS sort of highlights its confidence in the benefits these solutions can have on the country. Community acceptance is growing with initiatives like drone technology training and public aviation events showcasing the potential of these technologies. And there's also a strong desire for AAM solutions in the tourism sector, where the government is actively promoting tourism to locations in Oman that can be challenging to reach via land. Increasing tourism and accessibility in general really is a significant project for the country as it looks to diversify its economy. Initiatives that will help Oman achieve its sustainability goals as part of Oman Vision 2040 also tend to see a lot of government support, and advanced air mobility has the potential to fit nicely into those plans. Of course, despite these advancements, there are some concerns from the public as well. Noise pollution is an issue, with the potential for AAM to increase noise in areas beyond airports. The CAA is actively working on noise abatement procedures, but we've yet to see how these will apply to the UAM and UAS aircraft. There are also integration concerns with existing airspace, as well as general privacy and safety concerns about AAM and UAS technology. It's something that will be addressed over time as policies are developed and people get used to seeing the technology on a regular basis. So in summary, Oman's AAM and UAS ecosystem is evolving with notable milestones achieved and promising opportunities on the horizon. It's not without its challenges, though, as I mentioned. The regulation is maturing gradually to address these concerns. One thing we do need is more specific research into AAM integration in the country. Looking ahead, there are some key events taking place that will showcase AAM and UAS technologies across many different industries. There are plans for a dedicated AAM event. It will be the first of its kind in Oman, so we're looking forward to that. And we're also expecting more announcements from both the government and the private sectors in the near future. So moving on to the project that I'm working on, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the founder of AeroVecto, an Omani startup working on building eVTOL aircraft specifically designed for mass public transit. So our aircraft will carry up to 18 passengers. It will be a hybrid aircraft and serve as an alternative mode for public transport, flying between multiple vertiports within the city on a regular schedule, thus reducing demand for ground-based transport and in turn also reducing the associated traffic congestion. There are also cargo and air ambulance variants of the aircraft. If you'd like to learn more, you can visit aerovector.com or follow us on LinkedIn. So that's it from me today. Thank you again for joining, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the forum.
Thank you so much, Fahad. That was excellent. I will now introduce Ankit Sanan from Qatar as well. So if you want to take it over.
Hi everyone, how's everything?
Good.
Just let me know if you see my screen.
Sir, yeah, once you start sharing it, I'll let you know if it comes up full screen.
How about now?
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Hi, guys. Morning, afternoon, wherever you're sitting from the world. I'm Ankit Sanan. I've taken the liberty to actually share both Qatar and India. Being Ratandeep not there, so I think I'll fill in a bit for India at this time. Since I do stay in Qatar most of my time, though, and visit India about 10 to 12 days a month. A bit of background, I've been a pilot for the last 19 years with the airliners, held key roles, and have been introduced to the AAM framework and had made some good friends sitting in various companies in last couple of years. So that brought me close to this space, and I'll share a bit of more insights of what Qatar and India are doing. Though, of course, just a disclaimer, whatever I share over here is my opinion and what is mostly available in the public domain, so please don't construe otherwise. Milestones in Qatar. So Qatar, even though I think they are a bit behind UAE or Saudi in their race or to embrace advanced air mobility, they seem to have announced that they will start electric air taxi testings and cargo drones in early 2025. Implement strategies in developing and operating an integrated mobility ecosystem in Qatar. The ministry itself has applied or sought for approvals for trials with the relevant Qatari bodies, and they are enhancing the entire public transit system in sync with the advanced air mobility, which is a mission that they want to serve with the third Qatar National Development Strategy, NDS3. Furthermore, with the business end of things, the Qatar Investment Authority and the Qatar Sovereign Fund is one of the biggest investors in beta technologies out of US, which I'm sure you're aware they made funding of 300 million. So you could probably expect beta to be amongst the early ones hitting the skies in Qatar. Getting to India, a bit of updates over there, especially with the forum right now taking place and concluding today. Indian OEMs are stepping up the game. They have receiving some sizable amount of funding. Some prominent OEMs are Blue Jay Aero, E-Plane AI, Sarla. They're all looking at aircrafts launch onwards from 2027 and 2028, depending on the variants that they're launching. E-Plane AI amongst, I think, is a front runner in this race with getting a TGCA or the Indian CA certification for design. At least their application has been accepted for the aircraft. That just happened 2 days back. Also, more announcements came yesterday with Eve vector management software being adopted by Jet Set Go, in addition to Blade, which was already a client in the past. Over 400 plus VTOLs are on order with Blade, which is Hunch Mobility, Jet Set Go, Archer, Interglobe, partnership. And the Indian CA itself is also pushing the advancement of the technology because of the excitement that the whole country is showing towards it. With a lot of regulatory framework being published, at least the preliminary circulars are out for vertiport certification for vertiport operators and also for VTOL certifications for the OEMs. Drone technology as such is being already under several commercial pilot projects on routes and serving both agricultural space and mail services. The Bharat Mobility Summit, of course, is a testament to India's commitment towards this space and is very pro business and in vision with the global motivations of what the AMs and its advantages present. Moving on, the public sentiment. Public sentiment is, of course, quite positive, though it's primarily because of the buzz that's been created around by the OEMs and also by the media houses, which are singing really nice songs about advanced air mobility. So that's a very positive framework that most of the common public take ahead, or even the government bodies, because they feel that it's something that they should not be missing out. Though what an observation has been with some experts is a lot of money has been put into the OEMs to deliver on the aircrafts that they are promising to do so. Having said that, most of the founders and investors who are the early investors in such projects have kind of underestimated the cost that they actually project to get an aircraft certified. I'm over here. I'm particularly talking to VTOLs and the passenger versions and the cargo versions, which are going to be used at commercial scales, not the drones, which are much, I would say, lesser financial impact in certification or at least development. So that's the reason most of the investors or the founders are losing path in between, and we're running into some sort of a situation which we saw with Lilium in the past, and some financial situations with with Volocopter as well. It's also because of the OEMs trying to do it all. That's a sentiment as well, that they are trying to be an operator, they're trying to be a manufacturer, they're trying to be a software provider, and that's probably one of the reasons why a bit of the struggle is coming into the aircraft actually being out there in the sky. That's pretty much on the sentiment. Also, there's less being done on the seeing the viability and commercializations of the businesses that will thrive around the VTOL space. There's a lot being done to create the R&D. There's a lot being done to break the news that, okay, we can fly a aircraft in this space, in this capacity, with this economics. But there's less being done in actually studying that how will it actually become a commercially advantageous a business while you run those aircrafts. Moving on. These are some upcoming events, though there's nothing specific happening in Qatar in this particular space. India just is concluding the summit today, and these are a list of global events that happen over the year, which I'm sure a lot of people have access to, but that's where I felt it was relevant to kind of put it over here. Further, in conclusion, I see a lot of work still to be done with the battery technologies, with the range that they can provide, to just go beyond the urban airspace and look at regional airspace, which is a much needed aspect of what India actually requires. Hybrid aircrafts need a lot of attention as well. That's something that will deliver the range and have fuels which will be more usable as well. Ancillary businesses and services is where a lot of focus should be put in, with people finding a path to commercialization. The industry is in, I would say, second gear, or rather third gear. The initial amount of funding and everything has gone towards the R&D and the development of the aircrafts, but the rest is going to be dependent on how the businesses actually make a success story out of it. And environment preservation, technology development, and enhanced user experience is something that we all understand that AAM is going to serve in the market. But bear in mind that everything is only possible if there's a commercially viable business around it. So OEMs are to deliver, the quotes, the numbers that they quote with $1.5, $2 per seat mile, revenues per seat miles, those will actually become very relevant figures to work with. So the OEMs should have laser sharp focus and not try to just do it all. Air operations is a very different ball game. Their work should be in R&D and constantly innovate to make the machines as efficient and effective while this industry matures and gets into real commercial hands. That's what I would conclude with. With regards to my project, currently I am restricted by my board and my partners, who are quite a few renowned, to divulge much details about it. Though what I can share is we are going to be out of India. We are not an OEM. We're building an ancillary business which is going to be serving our clients and users, and we are ensuring it's a cash flow positive and a viable business to work with, and not ensuring that we put in 500 million without getting an aircraft in the sky, or delivering to the unit economics that the business is actually required to deliver. That's my time. Thank you. And if you were to reach me, I'm Ankit Sanan. That's my India number. I'll put in my Doha number as well in the chat. Thank you.
Right on, Ankit. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. With that, everyone, we are going to take a 10-minute break and come back to Tomislav, our senior advisor, will be sharing. So I will say, let's come back and I will kick it off sharp here at 13 minutes past the hour, in 10 minutes. So everybody go ahead and take a quick break. Thank you.
Schönen guten Tag. Ich bin gleich weg.
Alles gut. Nee, ich wollte nur gucken, ob wir da genug noch Kaffee und so haben.
All right, Tomislav, how are you doing?
Good. Microphone check. You hear me fine?
Yep, you sound crystal clear.
Great.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully we're all back from the break and ready to get started. I will just briefly kick it off, but yes, I mean, Tomislav, if you're ready to go, do you want to pull up your slides or anything there?
Absolutely. Is everybody here or we want to wait?
I think we're good to go. What do you say?
Yes, sure, we're good to go. Tom, you have the floor.
Yeah, if
All
you want
right.
to go for it.
Good day, everyone. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all the speakers so far from the AAM forum. Super exciting. Thank you, AAM, for making this happen. Really great show. I mean, you prepared super, David, as well. Great moderation. So yeah, let me introduce myself first. I'm Tomislav Lang. I'm one of the advisors and also supporters of the AAM Institute. I think I'm one of the first ones to talk to Dan. I'm in aviation since 24 years. I'm the founder and CEO to FlyVBird. This is my third airline venture that I'm basically working on. My biggest success was holding and owning the biggest and largest regional airline in Switzerland back in 2008, 2013. 8 airplanes, 160 passengers, and 250,000 passengers per year, which was then growing. Sold the company 2013. Were the exciting ideas around what we all do here happens. So maybe what I will present to you today is not so much future, it's actually happening today. So with FlyVBird, we are paving the foundation of the first ride-sharing simplicity that can be brought to air travel. We're backed by EA Maven. We have analyzed all the routes, and I can only congratulate as well EA Maven and invite everyone to talk to us and EA, because for every specific market, our model can drill down all of the actually profitabilities that we all will need in order to earn some money. But let me kick off first with facts. So yesterday we have, at the moment, I'm here checking on our first airplane, the Tecnam P2012. On the left side, it looks like this is how it looks like at the moment. We're in a pre-buy inspection. On the right side, you will see how the beautiful livery on our Tecnam P2012 will look like. And as well, what I want to showcase and highlight is that we are one of the major partners of Electra Aero, an airplane design that we believe strongly is the perfect fit for the future of advanced air mobility, and that will lead the transition from classical propulsion systems into novelty of propulsion systems, and offer an airplane that is as versatile as the Tecnam P2012, offering the right positive unit economics that we need in order to give some money back to the industry. But as everybody said, there's a lot of things that still need to be done. And I believe strongly, with also my background and my knowledge of this industry, we're a little bit stuck in all technology discussions, and we're not starting the commercial solution discussion. And we don't see anyone else besides us having a very clear path forward, how we will offer all of the partners like Lilium, Archer, Volocopter, everyone, the real profit generator. As many speakers have already highlighted today, technologies should focus on technology and leave commercial operation to the ones who really are knowledgeable about that. And this is not me saying this because I don't think that it's an easy piece. Technology is very hard to see. I see how many OEMs are struggling, but they will need 3 things. They will need a customer at scale. They will need a customer who knows how to operate in new advanced air mobility concepts, and they will need a team behind that that has proven that many times already. And my team and myself, I stand for that. We have proven that in the past many times. For the customer and for local markets and economies, we just have a pure time and waste saver when it comes to transporting passengers fast from A to B. If you look at the lack of connection and reasonability, what airlines today do very well is they do a very well hub and spoke system. But if we want to be connected fast within a smaller region, within a smaller economy landscape, it's basically only the car and the train, which comes at other problems because cars and trains are not the fastest ones. And this is how, with a new technology, with the Technam 2012, with our commercial viable solution that is proven through EAMAVEN and many other partners, we see that we can go at scale. So how we will do that? Well, we need to unlock on-demand air mobility. The beauty with us is you don't need to invest in any infrastructure. We will use any infrastructure that is built already, and there is more than 22 airfields that are not connected worldwide. The scalable of future air mobility comes at a few things that need to be done first: public acceptance, low operational costs, and lower CO2 reductions. We can deliver that as of today. We are going to start our first flight in May, and we are going to pave that future. So please reach out to us. We're happy to support you on all of those things that we're good in. We're not engineers, but we will definitely support you because we are very well connected to great engineers, especially here in Germany. And the magic behind what we do is our AI, machine learning. So what we do is we aggregate decentralized demand. We have a real-time optimization. With this, we can offer affordable and accessible travel. And our machine learning starts to self-learn and constantly improves. Why? As long as you manage 2 or 3 airplanes, no problem. But if you go at scale, and we're talking not 10, 20 airplanes, in the next 5 years, we will have a fleet managed by our system of more than 100 airplanes. And at scale, we can go all up to 700 and more airplanes worldwide, which will lead us into a real ride-air hailing system. Everything is set to launch. We, from start, have 70% operating cost reductions. And this is what we need. This is what the Technam can do. We have 80% emission reductions once we introduce the Electra EL9. And we are ready for entry into service as of today. So we're not a showcase anymore. This is really happening. And we're inviting everyone to invest, to partner, to talk to us. We're available for that because that will lead all of our proof of concepts and visions into reality, which will kick off a lot of things in all of your countries. Because if you can prove, hey, there is the first ones who have found out the trick how to make technology ready for this market, that will open up very, very, very many investor pockets that all of you guys need and that we all need in order to grow this great economy for the future. Why do we start in Europe? Well, it's very easy. Europe has a climate neutral aviation policy, and by 2050, we need to be climate neutral when it comes to flying. And if we look into France, Denmark, Sweden, they're all progressing in this field. We have a vast network of unconnected airports within Europe, and we have a robust network, and we have a unified regulatory framework. Not only because of us, but great companies like Volocopter, and let's cheer for them, for example, because I know that this team of people has worked their asses off to make your urban air mobility ready. So we can all just wish that Volocopter will have this first flight soon, because this will unlock many key achievements to many other producers. And I know that this team can make that happen. The future of mobility is huge. Looking into all continents, we have a 38 billion market by 2050. Projections show that AAM has a 20% CAGR on that mobility market. And there is no one who will be going at scale besides all of us here. So what we are proposing is something very simple. We take the best of what we have learned in the past, and we're the first ride-air sharing concept that can roll and will work as a marketplace for every of your continents. Obviously, I cannot be everywhere. I cannot be in the US and Papua New Guinea in the same moment, but we can deliver all of this work that we have provided, teach partners, and scale your markets with your extended arms in those markets and make your markets happen as well. Because everything is there, our technology is ready, we have software readiness, we have the AI ready, we have the machine learning ready, we have EAMAVEN and other bigger partners who will analyze how to start in those markets, so we can also show that there is a clear plan behind what we do. Maybe key achievements behind my company. We have pre-sale success of more than 500K pre-revenues already for this year. We have the algorithm that is owned by us. Regulatory milestones, we're all set for current airplanes. So the whole air operations part is ready, and we can transition into other airplanes as well immediately. We have some significant research grants here from Germany that we can lift into also other projects by working together with you guys. We have a proven market interest. Through our demo app, we received only 6,000, more than 6,000, I have to put like this, requests in only 4 months, and that was a worldwide request. That was not only Germany. We're recognized by accelerators like the Sustainable Aero Lab. We graduated there with success. OEMs rely upon us, Electra, Aero, Zero Avia, Aviation. They count on us because they have understood our technology needs a validation to commercialize the advanced aircraft technologies, and this is what we do. We have learned from the best. We're a team of 15. Not anyone is working here just for the fun of it. We believe strongly in the future of urban air mobility, in the future of advanced air mobility. We have the magic formula to make this happen and profitable very fast. And therefore, I invite you to talk to us. We're very happy to connect through the Institute. We're very happy to support. We're very happy to share our ideas, share our partners, connect to the right people, because at the end, if we want to make advanced air mobility ready, I think we really need to stop just thinking, we need to do. And our philosophy is, well, let's get things done and let's stop talking. So thank you very much. And it's a great pleasure to be part of this journey with you guys.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tomislav. Really appreciate it. And with that, I'd like to introduce our first liaison for this section, our liaison to Kenya, Cleopa Otieno. If you want to take over the screen, and I will make sure that your slides are coming up okay, and you can take it away. Alrighty. And that works okay. It looks like you're sharing the your view of the screen, but I think it'll go through the slides if you move them through. But yeah, all right, that works. I cannot hear audio though.
Yes, mic is muted.
Oh,
Is there
hello,
a way to...
hi, can you hear me?
Yep, we can. Is there a way to
Great.
change the view so we see the full screen? It probably doesn't matter at this point, but because we can see it just fine. But I was curious. Display. Go to display settings there. Yeah, maybe either one. Yeah, duplicate probably.
Is that better?
Yes, that is perfect. All right, take it away. You got your 5 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Cleopa Otieno, liaison for Kenya. I am currently the CEO for Kenya Flying Labs, a company that has been in operation for just about 5 years. Kenya did get drone regulations just around 2020. And that opened up things as regards unmanned aerial vehicle systems and services. So currently, we do have regulations in Kenya, and that has been the backing that the industry needed to kickstart projects here. In regard to industry milestones, Kenya just launched the Konza Technopolis drone corridor, which is basically an area where the government is setting aside segregated airspace for unmanned aerial service providers to extensively use to test and develop concepts and systems from this controlled area. And I think that gives us a really great opportunity to be able to really move things as regards developing this sector. Key partnerships and collaborations. We've just signed a partnership agreement with EHang to be able to test at the corridor beginning the second quarter of this year. We've also signed collaboration partnerships with visionaries, which is a transponder solutions manufacturer. And this is mainly to try and make the airspace safe. We are testing electronic conspicuity concept as a way of integrating drones to the airspace, because I believe that safety is key. Noteworthy trials and demonstrations. As I mentioned, we are expecting to have EHang in Kenya this year. This should happen within the second quarter this year, and they'll be doing tests within this environment for about 6 months. In terms of key changes in legislation, regulatory advancements or setbacks, I would say this. We have regulations that we got in 2020 that are now being revised, and we are hoping to get this in the first quarter of this year, which will be a great improvement to some of the challenges like cost of operations and categorization of drones within this regulation, the initial regulation that we had. As regards government initiatives, policies promoting AMUS, we have some incentives from government, which is basically the notable one is the tax exemption that we have on unmanned aerial systems and accessories. And I think that's a great boost to the industry in terms of people bringing these systems to Kenya. Public statements, I believe I've touched on most of this, but we do have the regulations that are being revised currently. We just have launched the National Drone Corridor last year, and the development of the UAS management system, which allows operators to be able to request for services and pay for services through this particular system. That has really streamlined operations and cut down on the wait time that we had to do when things were manual. And of course, government support, as I mentioned, the tax exemptions, and of course, the allowing UTOs and ROCs to register. Currently, we have over 40, going to 50 drone companies. Some of the negative aspects that I could mention, BVLOS is still quite a challenge in Kenya. We do have Zipline, one of the companies that we also support, Wingcopter, which is operating through our ROC, just got proof of concept clearance for BVLOS, but that took quite a while. And we've had clients who come and have to leave because of this particular issue. There's, of course, illegal operators, which is where the danger looms. And this is mainly perhaps because of the very strict drone laws, and I think lack of proper sensitization across to let people know that drone regulations are here to make things easy for them. And I would lastly say cost of operation as being quite high to be able to sustain operations. Upcoming events, we're organizing an advanced air mobility event in 2025, and this will be in partnership with different players in the field. It will be held in Nairobi. I'm going to be sharing the dates and location to this network for anybody interested to come and participate. So that is the notable event. And of course, I think the Africa Drone Forum, which is coming up sometime this year as well. I think the announcement should be made within the month. That will happen in Rwanda, the Africa Drone Forum. In conclusion, the outlook is quite positive, I would say. In relation to what I've mentioned, I think the government is providing an opportunity for drones to play a key role in the economy. Different sectors are already making use of this, and we have players in agriculture, search and rescue, cargo delivery, among others, really starting off activities and programs. Opportunities, a notable one is the opportunity that the corridor presents for manufacturers to be able to test within this environment. And I think the challenges, as I mentioned, is definitely just the cost. And of course, regulatory environment, which is of course improving, but there's quite a bit that we still have issues with. My projects can be found on this link. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And I will introduce our liaison to Tanzania, Rose Funja. It looks like you're up already. I see your video. Hopefully audio and presentation come up all right, and you can get started. Let's see.
Okay. Thank you. Is that clear on your end?
Yes, perfect. Go for it. And I hear your audio as well. Take it away, and you got 5 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My name, as introduced, is Rose Funja, liaison for Tanzania. I'm a CEO of Altitude X, which is a company that I lead on drone services. Happy to be here and having the opportunity to do this. Trying to go to the next slide. There I am. So Tanzania is a country just next to Kenya of 60 million people plus. And in terms of milestones, we've had a lot of milestones on the agriculture end, and we have organizations that are pushing in the agriculture, so plant health, European Union, FAO, as well as we've had capacity training programs by universities, but as well as private companies. When it comes to the Aviation Authority, they've been making progress, and the progress has been on regulations. We launched the BV laws last year, so it's the regulations are up and very easily. They are very accommodating in terms of allowing drones to be tested in that space. Agriculture remains to be one space that the government is taking part in and putting a lot of efforts. And when it comes to private sector, we've just last year had our first drone user conference, and that same will be happening this year. And we also had very big delegations from Germany who came to sort of try to find collaborators. So that space is open, and it's open on both ends, because as much as we use drones in the country, most of them are out of the box and mostly DJI kind of drones. So the space is really open to people who wants to come in. And like I said, the regulations also allow that as well. In terms of public settlements, we have drones in agriculture is what people understand right now. And the government, like I said, supports that. So it's a repetition. But then when it comes to the negative end, there's a lot of concerns around security. And I think it's also lack of education that most people think that is very stringent in terms of regulations and things that they have to follow. Some of the success story includes the Tanzania plant health and pesticide. You see that the agriculture angle is moving very fast, as well as support from multiple organizations. And the Aviation Authority, in the past, it used to be a manual process. So now at least they have an online system where you can ask and get all these permits and whether to import, whether to operate, and you can get in a split of seconds, because once you make the payments, then they process the papers for you. In terms of events, so few have been happening in the country. One is to note is the user conference, the drone user conference I talked about. So we had one last year, expecting another one this year. And it's really open to collaboration. In the past, it used to be, last year it was strictly DJI, but the ones that are organizing this are open to invite other people to come in. There's a push for STEM starting because Tanzania has a lot of youth. I think over more than 50% of the population, the young population. So there's a push and a welcoming end in terms of youth and drones. And agriculture seems to be one thing that is really pushing the ends. So there's capacity training by private and government entities. So overall, the same song that I've been singing, there's potential, huge potential in terms of agriculture, but then also infrastructure and environmental monitoring. We've seen drones being used in that space. And then the government is really open and interested, and so is the Aviation Authority. And opportunities in crop monitoring, pest control, and precision agriculture. Environmental, including wildlife conservation, climate change mitigation, and deforestation tracking. Regulation, as much as they're working right now, but there's still space into improving and making it in a way that they can easily like track the drones that are actually operating in this space, and training and job creation and skills as well. So like I said, it's a very young population, and things like drones and eVTOLs are things that this population consume a lot, and that space is open. Challenges still remain on a bit of the regulations, perception. There's perception in terms of security, privacy, and safety, as well as costs. So like I said, that most of the drones that are operated here are DJI drones and out of the box, and we know that they're not cheap. So that part is still a barrier. When it comes to what I do, personally, I run Altitude X, and we are into agri-tech in terms of spraying pesticide and spreading fertilizer. But we're also into telecommunication and power lines in terms of monitoring and creating the digital twins for this asset in a way that it sort of bring down the cost for the operators. And we're also into surveillance in things like pipelines. That's the space that we operate. With that, I would like to thank you all. I'll put my LinkedIn contact, URL in the chat. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Wonderful. Thank you very much as well. And so we'll go to our liaison to Malawi. It's Tadala Makaluni. Tadala. Let me know if you can hear me, see me, and you can go ahead and take over the screen as well for your presentation.
All right.
You got your audio, sounds good.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Hi, I'm Tadala Makuluni. I'm from Malawi. I'm the liaison for Malawi. I work with NASA Area Data Solution, which is a drone company that is based in Malawi and started in 2020 during the pandemic. All right. So Malawi is one of the most developing countries that is dealing with drones right now. They started what we are calling an African Drone Academy, which basically trains drone pilots in how they can use drones for good. So in terms of medications, in terms of delivery, in terms of agriculture, and diverse aspects of it. So internationally, we've got different companies that are coming in from international spaces. And then those are able to use drones for delivery, especially for medicines. So we're talking of companies like Bring Me Hope, Soup Elo, as well as Wincopter. But on the local state, we're having startup companies that are coming in that are also using drones for different things. We're talking of Micromake, which is a drone-based company in Malawi that started in 2018, that are also making drones here in Malawi for delivery. We also have Worldwide Joint Discoveries that just started. They're using drones for surveillance. So in terms of different websites, just surveying around, as well as just for statistics. And we're also looking at farming and engineering services that are working with large agriculture companies, and they're using drones for agriculture and other service providers that are around in Malawi. But the good part and the interesting part is how the government itself has accepted the coming in of new technologies. So that makes it easier for both international and local organizations to grow and expand in Malawi. So it's easier to even interact with the Department of Civil Aviation that gives in licenses and notifications, and they go ahead for you to fly. We're looking at international organizations like World Bank that are used drones for monitoring and surveillance and agriculture, as well as environmental management. We're looking at UNICEF, World Relief, and other non-governmental organizations that are there. And the good part is we have got a drone testing corridor in Kasungu that has been in place for a while, about 5 years now, since we are in 2025. And different companies come in to test before they start their drone services. So if you've got a drone, we've got a drone corridor in Malawi, and if you are looking for expansion or to come and fly your drones, that's a good starting point. And another good part that is there is the display that is there for community leaders that are also championing this. So we're talking of young people that are able to take up the advancements that are there in technology, especially in the use of video drones, and they're starting up their own companies. So be it drones in agriculture, be it drones in deliveries, even the local made drones here in Malawi, as well as the local partnerships that have been there that are in place with UNICEF Malawi being one of them that are providing the drone trainings, as well as the Department of Civil Aviation that are also providing trainings as well as certifications here in Malawi. But on the same part, the major thing, apart from the things that my friends have already talked about in other African countries, to do with how expensive drones are and how expensive it is to operate drones in Africa. In Malawi, one thing that we're also lacking, that is dragging us a lot, is the issue to do with regulations. So our regulations haven't been accepted by the government itself. They're still discussing about them, and the High Court hasn't given a go ahead of them. So that has been like a dragging force, because everyone can come and fly drones. There are no big regulations or legislations that can restrict you or can put an end on how people can fly drones and how people can operate everything. So that has been like a major setback in regards to the same. So about what I do, as I said, I'm a co-founder of Nyasa Area Data Solutions, which was established in 2020 by African and Drone Data Academy graduates. So we basically are a leading provider of drones, and we use drones for surveillance. We're using drones for environmental management, for combating climate change, for agriculture, and everything in between. We've been able to collaborate with the World Bank to map degraded areas across Malawi, and we've worked during last year when there was Cyclone Freddy that hit us the most. We're able to collaborate with other local organizations to map the areas that were flooded by drones, both during the flooding as well as the post. And as a liaison and someone who is working in the drone industry, what I'm looking for the most is the collaborations that can be there within different organizations, internationally and both at local states, to be able to expand the innovations that we have already started, and also make this inclusive for both young people as well as women. Because the future of UAVs in Malawi is huge, and it's going to be one of the cornerstones for sustainable development in our country. So yeah, we're looking for partnerships and collaborations that can be there, as well as any ideas that you want to bring in Malawi. You can be able to contact me, and that's my email, and I also send my LinkedIn profile and my number in the chat.
Wonderful.
Otherwise, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Really appreciate it. It's fun seeing different drones that I'm seeing out and about in my world here in the US as well, just throughout. You know, an awesome opportunity for the folks out there. So I'm gonna shout out really quick for Virginie Uwimana, if you're out there, liaison to Namibia. I don't see you on here online, but I'll give you a couple seconds if I missed something, but I don't see you there. But after that, we're looking at the liaison to Finland. Ari, if you are out there, oh, I see you there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, excellent. And if you want to share the screen, I'll confirm. And we'd love to hear what's going on in Finland. You are muted at this point.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
There you go.
My dog was barking, and now she went away. Okay, so it's my turn.
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to pull up your screen.
Yeah. So can you see the slide?
Yeah, that looks good. You got your 5 minutes. Take it away.
Okay, so hey, good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. My name is Ari Etelävuori, and I'm currently the team lead and senior lecturer in Haaga-Helia University of Applied Sciences Aviation Business Team. In this Advanced Air Mobility Global Forum, I'm happy and honored to present the AAM Outlook in Finland. Few words about industry milestones here in Finland. First of all, we have Europe's first ADS-B Universal Access Transceiver ground station test environment, which was established by Nelly Research Unit at Southeastern Finland University of Applied Sciences. There are multiple 5G network and test use cases, and then VTT Technical Research Center of Finland and their aviation team, which started recently, has multiple ongoing projects, just naming a few here. So IMO project aims to describe how we could move from the current own and operate a business model to fleet operator business model to enhance the drone fleet utilization, which would be really crucial in a small market like Finland. Dropotize is about completely autonomous operation of mixed fleet of robots and drones in logistics and surveillance, and Rolo 2 is about airspace data integration between ATM and U-Space. There are multiple initiatives by, for example, Arctic Drone Labs together that integrated with University of Oulu and Oulu University of Applied Sciences. Also, a project called Metropolitan UAM just submitted a joint project funding proposal. the cities of Helsinki, Espoo, and Vantaa have formed, and I could say, a long-awaited consortium together with VTT and Forum Virium of Helsinki. So the intention is to promote urban aviation in the whole Helsinki metropolitan area, so including the neighboring cities of Vantaa and Espoo. There is also strong commitment to develop use-based management in equivalent collaboration. Worth mentioning is also that Nordic countries signed a declaration to advance electric aviation together, and that the promotion of electric aviation is now included in the government program. Something about public sentiments in Finland. So there's a project called City AAM, which has partnering cities of Helsinki, Stockholm, Hamburg, Riga, Tartu, and Gdansk, supported by research and expert partner organizations. And as part of this project, a survey concerning social acceptance of drones was concluded. And I will just present some preliminary results, so not the final and not published yet. And I'm not reading the whole slide, but just a couple of quick takeaways from the slide. So first of all, the results are based on 500 respondents in the city of Helsinki, so not directly representing the whole of Finland, but probably pretty representing anyway. So the top 3 most acceptable uses of drones would be emergency or disaster detection and response, environmental monitoring, and maintenance or inspection of construction works and infrastructure. And the top three most concerning drone topics would be violation of privacy, misuse of data, and criminal activity. Top 3 most suitable launch and landing sites, not surprisingly, not in anybody's backyard, would be industrial area, rooftop of a commercial building, or rooftop of a public building. In general, acceptance according to surveys higher than concern, and the final results will be published in City AAM project website. To stay within my time slot, I'm just quickly showing you an example of some upcoming events here in Finland. Of course, I wouldn't like you to forget our own seminar, April 25th, which is organized by our aviation business first year students. How to quickly summarize my outlook in Finnish AAM space then? There is still a lot of fragmentation among stakeholders, but far too fragmented, and better governmental level coordination and support would be beneficial. Anyway, cities are increasingly taking the lead. As an example, there is this increasing cooperation and collaboration between Helsinki metropolitan area, so cities Helsinki, Vantaa, and Espoo. Other strong areas around cities and airports are in Oulu and Tampere, and then in some smaller cities which have airports, so Seinäjoki, Pyhtää, Helsinki East, basically, so Redstone, Aero. Multiple initiatives, startups in different fields. And now also this wide-ranging multidisciplinary ecosystems are emerging to really work together for a brighter future of AAM development in the whole of Finland. So I would say that the general outlook is promising, but a lot of work is still ahead of us. Well, my project slide is basically about our work in Haaga-Helia, University of Applied Sciences. So in this University of Applied Sciences, we have both Aviation Business BBA and Sustainable Aviation Business MBA programs. And in the MBA side, we have this course called Innovative Aerial Services. The old name where, for example, Dan was a visitor was urban air mobility for last mile delivery, but it didn't quite describe the content of the course. So we are following, in a way, the EU terminology now. And innovative aerial services consist of aerial operations and innovative air mobility. In aerial operations, we have things like surveillance, checking, mapping, etc. And then in innovative air mobility, international, regional, urban mobility. Some ongoing related Haaga-Helia aviation projects would be Smart Urban eFly, co-funded by the European Union. Well, actually, all of these Haaga-Helia projects are co-funded by European Union. Smart Urban eFly is about development and expansion of feasible business models in electric flying within and between urban areas. Then we have the Seaplane Flights Boosting Tourism Business project, which includes electrification possibilities. And by working on this project, I have found out what kind of developments and possibilities there actually are in drones operating from water. Then we have this project called Inclave, which is about inclusive aviation. It's about traditional aviation, but I'm mentioning here because my personal interest is to study the accessibility issues further in the AAM space, which hasn't done, I think, not too much. So if anybody would be interested to work with us in any of these areas that I mentioned, please be in touch. And that's all from Finland this time. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Advanced Air Mobility Institute, for this possibility to present.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you so much, Ari. And now we'll go to the liaison to Romania. May I offer? Oh, there you are. Got your audio and video.
I'm trying to share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am. So, yep, we see the screen. Maybe make it full. Oh, yep, perfect. Great. Looks good. Take it away. You got your 5 minutes. Thanks so much. Oh, and something popped up there. You might minus that down. Let's see.
What?
Or maybe play the slideshow again, because now I just see the yeah, exactly. You might need to hit play again.
Okay. This is weird. This is weird.
Perfect. Yep, looks good. Take it away.
It doesn't stay. I don't know why. That's weird.
You have two screens running or what?
No, I don't.
Well, if you hit play again, it looked great for all of us. I don't know if you can still see it, but like if you hit that button right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, click that.
The problem is that I can't see my notes now.
Oh, I see. Got you. Well, you can run it the other way if you want.
This is totally weird. Okay. So, can you see actually the big one here?
Yeah, I think that'll work fine. Go for it.
Okay.
And in fact, you know what? Before you can start, you could use that. If you look at the top right, see the little up arrow kind of on the ribbon that's over to the right, up, yeah, down a little bit for your mouse. Just slightly down, right, almost there. You're like just to the, you need to go to the right slightly. If you click that little up arrow, tick, little, you're so close, right there. Yep, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so welcome to the Advanced Air Mobility Forum. I'm the current chair of the Board of Liaisons, and I'm also the liaison for Romania. My name is Katrin Meyerhofer. I'm the COO and co-founder of ELSA Industry. So looking about towards the industry milestones, Romania has made significant strides in the AAM and UAS sectors with several key industry milestones. We have seen initiatives in eVTOL and vertiports for safe and sustainable aerial transportation, and the development of hydrogen-powered aircraft and long-range autonomous UAVs has been a focus, with strategic partnerships forming to drive innovation. A major development is the Romanian Hydrogen and New Energy Technologies Hub. It's so-called RO Hydro Hub project. This is a 130 million initiative aiming to position Romania at the forefront of advanced technology development, focusing on hydrogen as a key element in the energy transition, which is important also for our infrastructure when we're talking about vertiports and hydrogen vehicles. ELSA Industry is proud to be an integral part of this project, driving technological advancement alongside other key partners. The National Recovery and Resilience Plan has allocated funding to enhance UAV capabilities, while the Integrated Country Strategy engages with international stakeholders to boost AAM and UAS innovation. And Romania is also aligning with EASA standards to ensure seamless integration and safety in the air mobility sector. When we are looking towards the public sentiments, nothing changed too much according to last year. The advanced air mobility, sentiment, and UAS technologies in 2024 was super mixed, and I think it will remain as well in 2025 like that. While there is excitement about potential benefits, there are also concerns about safety, privacy, and noise pollution. However, success stories in areas like medical supply, deliveries, and passenger drone tests have garnered positive attention and also community support. Upcoming events, there are not too many in Romania. We are a small country. So looking ahead to the 2025 events, there are several notable AAM and UAS events are scheduled in Romania. These include an international conference in March, a workshop in Cluj-Napoca in July, and a symposium in Timișoara in November. In conclusion, the outlook for advanced air mobility and UAS in 2025 is promising, with opportunities for economic growth, environmental benefits, urban integration, and improved public services. However, challenges remain in safety regulation, public acceptance, infrastructure development, and of course, some technical hurdles. So now I'm talking a little bit about what we are doing in ELSA. ELSA industry is at the forefront of these developments with our Harpy autonomous UAV. This versatile aircraft offers VTOL capability, multiple energy source options, and impressive specifications suitable for various applications. So the drone industry is expanding rapidly with applications across agriculture, energy, public safety, e-commerce, and mobility sectors. And our project focuses on key markets, including emergency response, rapid transportation, critical infrastructure inspection, and urban and regional air mobility. The Harpy UAV has significant potential in healthcare, offering lower capital expenses and increased utilization of transport assets compared to traditional methods. In conclusion, ELSA industry is well positioned to capitalize on the growing logistics market, demonstrate our hydrogen powertrain technology, which we are working on, and penetrate the commercial drone market with the Harpy UAV. We're excited about the future of AAM and UAS in Romania and look forward to driving innovation in this rapidly evolving sector. And what I would like to announce, in addition, I don't have it in the slides for a good reason, is we are currently setting up a full cluster towards some air taxi testing in Romania, also in cooperation with a helicopter manufacturer from US, talking about maintenance and pilot training academy in Romania. This is one thing, and the other thing is that we are also hand in hand with this project implementing a vertiport and the hydrogen infrastructure, and in general the infrastructure needed for those kind of vehicles. Thank you for your attention. You can find me, of course, on LinkedIn and in our group. Thanks for listening and joining us today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So then I'll introduce the liaison to South Africa, Louise Jupe. There you are.
Was it? Yes, I'm here.
No worries.
How's that?
That looks great. Full screen.
Great.
Take it away.
Thank you. Thanks, David. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name's Louise Jupp. I'm the owner of Terrico Aviation. I'm an industry consultant specializing in research and analysis of more of the strategic components of the drone ecosystem. I'm also an author with books relating to the drone industry, and I do quite a lot of speaking. Today, I'm delighted to be able to give you a rundown of the position of more AAM in South Africa. Okay, Sorry, there we go. In terms of the milestones since the last report, I think there's nothing specific to AAM, but very specifically, the Western Cape government has appointed the African Institute of Entrepreneurship to prepare a business plan. This is for establishing a sandbox for drones and UAVs in Cape Town, South Africa. Really, the intent is to develop a conducive environment to sort of foster drone technology advancement, applications, and start to attract local and international investment. The importance of this from an AAM perspective is that it could provide an opportunity for testing and developing the AAM ecosystem in due time. Otherwise, really, in terms of the government approach to AAM, really nothing specific. There was in September a Aviation Africa summit held in Cape Town, and the Minister of Transport spoke about this, and specifically the discussions of the Aerotropolis concept, where airports serve as a core for commercial and economic development through growth and innovation. And AAM would have almost certainly have come up in that. I didn't have an agenda, I'm afraid. But ICAO also, our director of civil aviation for the Civil Aviation Authority, also attended the ICAO symposium and was on a panel discussing the staffing and creating the workforce for AAM. So, you know, certainly key persons are being aware of AAM in South Africa. I think in terms of public sentiments, really our focus here is on more UAS and integrating those into airspace and applications. At the moment, UAS applications tend to be focusing on security, agriculture, mining and surveying. And we do have BV loss capabilities, provided you are licensed to be able to do so. In terms of the general population, I would say equally, you know, any awareness or sentiment is focused on UAS and drones, and that really any attention given to AAM is limited to negligible. Certainly because there isn't clear direction in South Africa. And really another thing is that the feasibility or the value of AAM in South Africa hasn't really been explored yet. So really in terms of negative or positive displays, I would say nothing of real significance to note. In terms of upcoming events, there's nothing yet that I know that I can see that's scheduled for specific AAM events or drone or UAS events. However, there are two industry-wide conferences coming up that are almost certainly and will be covering AAM. One in April, the International Conference on Aeronautical and Aerospace Engineering in Cape Town, and in October, the African Air Expo 2025, also in Cape Town. I think really in conclusion, the outlook here for AAM in particular, it's still early stages, but that being said, stakeholder awareness, as I said, government levels, key regulatory authorities are starting to be involved in events that discuss AAM. And still really the outlook is on UAS and integrating those into our airspace. The opportunities for AAM is really at the moment, the Western Cape government's regulatory sandbox initiative is really looking as an opportunity or a catalyst for testing AAM and certainly starting to attract investment and perhaps building foundations for broader discussions, certainly with time. Ultimately, the challenges for AAM in South Africa is really there is an absence of a dedicated regulatory framework that really sets out a roadmap for testing and advancing and bringing in, integrating AAM technology into South Africa. And I think, just to repeat, really, the absence of a well-defined champion case of sorts, demonstrating a clear value of AAM to the public and stakeholders. Without that, there isn't a drive, there isn't interest. We need that for that sort of activity or interest to grow. And that's effectively it. Just thank you very much to the Advanced Air Mobility Institute for this opportunity. Thank you, everybody. My name's Louise. Feel free to reach out to me on that LinkedIn address. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Louise. I just sent you a LinkedIn request myself. You might see that pop up.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. So I will introduce then the liaison to Norway, Øystein. If you're out there, okay, great. You got the screen. And can we check audio, video? Let's see. Test. Don't hear anything yet.
Hello.
There we are.
There we are. Yeah, thank you so much for letting me be here. I'm the liaison for Norway. Yeah, my name is Øystein Aune. I've been team leader and engineer for Nordic E-Race team. And also I'm active member, board member, and also former president for the EAA community in Norway, if you're familiar with that. So that's my background in here. I have tried to summarize the last 6 months of the activities that I think is notable for this forum. So here we go. Yeah, when it comes to new technologies and innovations, I think the biggest news is that Rolls-Royce has successfully completed an initial run for their direct drive motor that they are developing for the commuter aircraft market. That is happening up in the middle or a bit north in Norway, in Trondheim. Some major projects or initiatives that have been launched is that the British company Bristow Norway is to become Norway's first operator of electric aircraft route, which it's supposed to, with the aircraft being supplied by American manufacturer Beta Technologies. The route is scheduled to be launched as early as in August 2025. So regarding to key partnerships and collaborations, Elfly Group has made an agreement to become a partner with Bristol Aero to distribute their fully electrical aircraft, the B-23 Energic, which is aiming to become the first EASA CS23 certified electric aircraft for the Nordic market. Also mentionable is that Elfly AS has signed a partnership and a MOU with Nordic Seaplanes for 5 Noemi amphibious aircrafts with an option for additional 10. The Noemi, which stands for no emission, is designed for water operations within countries with a long coastal line in mind. So it's basically a big sea boat or a seaplane. Trials and demonstrations, interesting ones is that Røros region Innovation Group and Røros Municipality have proudly launched their test phase Green Flyaway 2.0 project, which is it was operating from October to December last year in collaboration with Aviant, the drone manufacturer. The drones were to deliver food to the residents in nearby areas, Glåmos and Brekken. This marked Norway's first drone delivery tests. I haven't read the report, but I'm looking forward to that actually. Key changes in legislation, regulatory advancements or setbacks, there hasn't been that many, so nothing to report on that. Government initiative and policies promoting AAM UAS. In April this year, Avinor and the Civil Aviation Authority of Norway signed a cooperation agreement to establish Norway as an international testing ground for zero and low emission aircraft. This initiative will play a central role in achieving the goal of a fossil-free aviation. Sorry. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. To play a role in achieving the goal of fossil-free aviation in Norway by 2050. In line with the Norwegian aviation strategy, have now the state-owned company Avinor designated Stavanger and Bergen Airport as the 2 first airports to accommodate electric aircraft traffic. And as mentioned earlier, this is scheduled as early as August 2025. So these 2 cases are linked together. Public sentiments. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get quality facts on this, but from what I read in reports, most experts have praised Norway's ambitious aviation sustainability goals, but they also emphasize the challenges of advancing technological innovation and securing the investments and aligning policy supports. So yeah, and the public disclosure often occurs in comment sections with individuals expressing both positive and negative opinions that are not always thoroughly fact-checked and tend to harm the debate. So a lot of people are talking about it, but not too many know that much about it, though. Yeah, and the public sentiment appears largely to be neutral. While concerns such as potential risk of battery fires are present, Norway has an extensive and reliable electric vehicle fleet, which offers some reassurance to the people that are skeptical. So we are using the EVs to like prove the concepts when we discuss this with the public. Yeah, there hasn't been any big negative displays recently, but there haven't been either the positive one though. So it's kind of neutral. Yeah, community support and acceptance for AAM UAS initiatives. Public opinion seems to be positive with the use of drones for goods transportation, but there are greater skepticism about the use of drones for public transportation, with the trust in batteries and automation remaining a primary concern. So the upcoming events, yes, Norway isn't that big country either, but we recently held something called the Clean Aviation Evening in Norway with both people from the industry and people from the government. That was held the 15th of January this year. And we have the International Conference on Aviation Engineering and Technology in Oslo on June 24th to 25th. So conclusion, again, this is not based on too much, I don't have too many kind of fact-driven other than what we read in the news and also reports from the industry. But Norway's unique geography with numerous remote communities and well-developed short runway network serves as a key driver for the government's ambitious and innovative aviation strategy, which I mentioned before. These factors will remain relevant, and with an increasing focus on smarter mobility solutions, I believe there is a strong potential for companies to continue investing in the technologies in Norway. So it looks good. The opportunities there appear to be significant opportunities for government support in launching new AAM initiative. This is evident from the growth of companies like Elfly AS and Aviant, which demonstrates the viability and momentum in this sector. So the challenges beyond the well-known technical barriers, the great challenges will likely involve winning the remaining portion of the skeptical public and also maintaining political attention to support the growing initiatives. Yeah, so my project, I have had several projects going on, but I actually want to mention the recent one. Because in addition to working with the Nordic Airways team, as I mentioned, I'm also a member of the Experimental Aircraft Association in Norway. And we have just 1 week ago launched a project where our goal is to convert a petrol engine biplane to a fully electric powertrain utilizing technology from an electric motorcycle. And the primary aim for this project is to create a compelling proof of concept while also educating and inspiring the Norwegian EAA members as well as the public to explore the potential of utilizing more advanced and innovative form of propulsion. So yeah, as an electric engineer lead for this project, I'm thrilled to contribute because this will all just show the possibilities that we see in the next year for electrifying also the general aviation fleet. Yeah, and as a teaser warning that I guess the AAM Institute will be glad to hear is this aircraft might even be ready for the Pulitzer Trophy race next year. So we will see. I will keep you updated. So yeah, and that was everything from me. Thank you so much for the attention. And yeah, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn and also on my email address.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And we are about to enter another short break. But before I let you go, I wanted to acknowledge our sponsor, which is DMAC Despacho Jurídico which is a law firm established in the Dominican Republic for more than 20 years with offices in Santo Domingo and Punta Cana. The firm actually provides proactive and personalized legal services, offering innovative solutions to its clients. Its service philosophy is based on personalized attention to its clients. Timely delivery is guaranteed. They're accessible at all times, and protection of client interests and transparency in all procedures. So look them up, and we're going to take 10 minutes. We'll be right back. Thanks, everybody. All righty. Welcome back, everybody. Make sure to answer the poll if you have not had a chance yet. There's 2 questions there. And I'm in, am I good to end the poll so we can see the stats? But I would assume. I guess I'll leave
a few minutes.
Okay, cool. We'll give that a couple minutes. And in the meantime, as we're coming back, I wanted to again shout out for our sponsor. It's DMAC Despacho Jurídico, and a couple more details on what they provide. The website's being shown here. Hopefully you can read that, but it's www.dmac.com.do, and they provide high standards in legal services in different areas such as commercial and corporate law, administrative law, financial, tax and regulatory law, litigation, arbitration, and public-private partnerships. It actively participates in legal proceedings in the following industry segments: aviation and airport, telecommunications, real estate, mergers and acquisitions, entrepreneurship and startups, project finance, fintech, foreign investment and recovery, among others. So please look them up and reach out if you need these services. All right, excellent. And so Amin, I'll let you keep progressing with the poll, and then let me know when it is time to announce the next guest.
You may proceed with our keynote speaker, Daryl.
Okay, yeah, Daryl, Senior Advisor with the AAM Institute, Daryl Swanson. When you have a minute, if you can come up on audio, video, and share your screen.
Right, let's see if we can share. Oh, I need to be allowed to share my screen. Somebody else is sharing.
Access.
Let's try right now. No, it's not giving me the option to share.
Okay, yeah, you should
okay, let's try it now. There we go, screen 2 and share. Right, hopefully you're seeing my presentation.
Looks good.
Yes, Daryl is speaking.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. My name is Daryl Swanson, co-founder and director of EA Maven, or Electric Aviation Maven. We're based here in the UK, so basically we're following the same format, talking about what the opportunities are in the UK, and then we'll talk about some of the work that we do at EA Maven. So quickly moving on, time is always tight on these things. So industry milestones, I think like a lot of the other countries where advanced air mobility is progressing at pace, we've had similar advancements in there. I'll just touch on a few of them. I think the big thing that's happened in the UK is the government's Future Flight Challenge, funded by UKRI, to the tune of about 300 million. So that was half industry, half government putting money into that. And they sponsored 200 plus different projects across the UK. Which was absolutely fantastic. I think the great thing is that vertical aerospace is still around. It was a bit touch and go there for a while, but they managed to get additional funding to see them through. And we're also seeing the National Air Traffic Services. They're looking to develop a data backbone for communications in UTS operations in the key here in the UK. We've had partnerships and collaborations between Skyport and NHS Scotland for rural drone delivery. And then we're having a lot of work with UK universities, so Cranfield University in particular. And I would also point out the work that Fern is doing at the University of Birmingham. Lots of trials and demonstration where we have various different corridors in the UK for trialing out BVLOS aircraft. And I think one of the interesting things that's happening, and it's long overdue, is that the UK Civil Aviation Authority is going through an airspace modernization, which is going to include advanced air mobility, because I think that the airspace side could be a bit of a challenge. Again, things are a bit interesting in the UK. We've had a change of government, so we're still trying to figure out what's happening on that side. But what we are seeing is a lot more relationships between government and private companies to continue on that march. In terms of public sentiment, usual things that we're seeing across different jurisdictions around the world. The University of Birmingham, through Future Flight Challenge, has done a bit of a survey. There's some interesting outputs from that. People seem to be a little bit more concerned about the environment in terms of wildlife, maybe than perhaps some of the noise and other issues that you would normally see. But I think the industry in the UK has been trying to work with the public to get that social license, which we think is so important in the advanced air mobility area. So lots of stuff going on there. We'd have to say that the success stories really is the Future Flight Challenge and what they're doing in that space. And we're getting that support from the rural side, because we really see a lot of potential in terms of helping the regions access new markets and new opportunities with the development of advanced air mobility. As for upcoming events, there's lots of websites out there. These are just a few of them that I tend to look at. So we have the Urban Air Mobility news.com, great source of information, what's going on. Of course, we have our friends at eVTOL Insights. They host a bunch of their own conferences here in the UK and around the world. And then Foresight, another organization based here in the UK, they have an event up in May later this year that I'll be attending, a roundtable on advanced air mobility, and we'll be talking about the widespread challenges and opportunities in the industry. So in conclusion, I would have to say that the UK is cautiously positive. I'm a Canadian who's lived here for more than half my life, so I can definitely say everybody is cautiously positive, but the British are generally cautiously positive about most things. I've said that we've had that change of government, so we're a little bit less clear about what the Starmer government is actually going to be doing in advanced air mobility. Of course, they have their own strategies and ways of dealing with things and trying to distance themselves from the previous government, but largely things are carrying on. But what we're seeing is that the reality of delivering infrastructure for advanced air mobility is setting in terms of what the actual infrastructure is for urban air mobility or regional air mobility. Opportunities, this is our opinion, regional air mobility is going to be much bigger in the UK than urban air mobility. We're not saying that urban air mobility isn't going to be a big thing, it will, but just that there's more utility, and we'll get on to that in a minute. Now, the challenges specifically for the UK is going to be energy, the sources of it and the distribution of it. So if we had an all-green hydrogen system and it was all hydrogen regional air mobility aircraft, we need 2.7 terawatt hours of power for that system and 850 gigawatt hours of power for urban air mobility. So some definite challenges in terms of energy. You should not lose sight of that. So quickly about us, EA Maven, Electric Aviation Maven, a bit of a screenshot of who we are and what we do from our website. So we do a lot of strategy stuff, demand modeling, air service development, market assessment, revenue forecasting, carbon emission stuff. So it's everything that a company needs, either an operator or an airport or an OEM to put into their business plan to secure it. But the big thing that we've done is this advanced air mobility opportunity in the UK. But the important thing to understand is that we do a bottom-up approach. We're not top-down econometric guessing. So it's all based on mobility data, mobile phone stuff. We index that so that we try and sift out to all the irrelevant information so that we get down to those core routes that are relevant. We have a demand modeling capability that we've based on existing airline forecasting tools, but we've adopted it to the data. And then really to top it off, we have a scheduling tool. So that gives you things like what the size of the fleet that you need, aircraft utilization, revenue generation, energy requirements, economic impact. But as I said, we think that RAM is going to be bigger in the UK and possibly globally than urban air mobility. We look at things like the sectors. Now, this is all on our website, so I'm going through this quickly. So please take a look at our publications page and you'll be able to download it. But we have all these key indicators in terms of the size of the potential airports. 684 regional air mobility routes, 994 urban air mobility routes. Now, we're saying that RAM is bigger than UAM, but you'll find out in a minute why. The size of the target market, who's traveling by what mode of transport and why, and time savings, which is actually significant because that adds up to a lot of economic impact. So we're seeing that regional air mobility could put a 1.1 billion back into the economy on an annualized basis versus UAM at 615 million. So lots of opportunities to really put money back into the economy. We measure the number of aircraft which are needed, so 1,500 RAM aircraft, and that's on a 9-seat equivalent, and 2,204 seat eVTOL aircraft. So vertical aerospace has a lot of aircraft that they need to build. We can measure the carbon emission savings based on various different scenarios, and you can see that the numbers are quite positive. But the challenge that we have is the energy. So if it was all hydrogen aircraft for RAM, we need 52 million kilograms of hydrogen, needing 2.7 terawatt hours of power, and 850 gigawatt hours for UAM in our cities. And we have a sensitivity in the UK in that the grid has very little resilience in it, and that's just a lot of power to generate. We calculate revenue, of course, that's just coming out of the math. So a lot of money can be made in this space. And then with our friends at Flybe, and thank you to Thomas Love for the mention, we've been looking at what a network for regional air mobility could look like in the UK. So 7 different operators, 15 hubs, 105 routes. This is possibly in 2035. And those operators will be turning over about 300 million a year. Again, this is all on our website. We're really grateful for the work that Flybe has provided us and the information on what the potential is for regional air mobility. And of course, we've done the same thing for urban air mobility. We have also published a study on Ireland, and we're working on a new data set that would allow us access to all of Europe initially, then North America. So we'll be able to do this around the world. So keep your eyes open for that. So with that, I'll pass back and say thank you very much to the Advanced Air Mobility Institute for the opportunity. Looking forward to working with you guys in the future. And by all means, if you have any questions about what we're doing, there's our email address. Please get in touch. Cheers.
Wonderful. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I would like to introduce our liaison to France, Fred Mallory. If you want to pull up your audio video and share your screen. I'm not getting your audio through. I think you're muted. Let's see. Still no audio. Do you have a way to unmute from your side? I think it shows muted.
Yeah, sorry, I was mute.
There it is.
I hope you can see my screen now.
I can see it. Take it away.
Does it move back and forth?
Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year's to everybody. Thank you for the Advanced Air Mobility Institute, especially Dan Slout, Amir, and you, David, to moderate these sessions. We had a great sessions already yesterday and this morning as well. And I look forward to get you a snapshot very quickly about what's going on in France, since I am the liaison France for this institute. France is, first of all, an aerospace ecosystem, which is known within our industry. We were pioneering aerospace years ago, decades ago, and centuries ago. And today, we are hosting in the country some leader airframer like Airbus, Dassault Airbus helicopters. This is not the topic of today's. And their major systems leader and all their sub-suppliers, which makes a very fertile ecosystem, also including high school and engineering school, etc. That is in certain extent fostering some innovations and initiatives towards a greener and more sustainable aviations in urban air mobility and regional air mobility, which are slightly different, as you know, and Darrell was mentioning the difference before, and I am happy to be on the same line as you are. Briefly, I am more a guy from the airframe technology and the platforms, which is flown. Therefore, I will more maybe focus on the platforms themselves rather than the ecosystem, the vertiports, the charging stations, and so on. This is the beauty of the Advanced Air Mobility Institute, to bundle a kind of personalities and respective expertise and so on. But nevertheless, I will try to have a global overview. In terms of platform, you see that we are at least here 7 quite interesting platforms that are tackling from urban air mobility to mostly regional air mobility. We spoke about already last conference, and we will continue all over the 6 months rhythm, because progress are on all those platforms. I was putting also a new one in EU, not since they are new, but because I forgot them, and I apologize by them to have forgotten this, which is a versatile and amphibious blended body. You have seen maybe on the global economy that's, for example, Jet0 is developing a large plane with a blended body structure and so on. And I will give you later on some update on each and every of those platforms. In terms of public sentiment, last summer, we were touching base the Olympic Games and the fact that Volocopter and their partner in terms of operations, Aéroport de Paris, was targeting to fly on some corridors that you can see on my screen, from Paris-Charles de Gaulle to Le Bourget regional or private aviation airport, down to floating vertiport that was installed indeed near the Austerlitz stations. The idea was to fly over the same corridor to connect also with the vertiport and heliport from Issy-les-Moulineaux, where the normal helicopter operations are made, with some restrictions, as Jean-Christophe Drey said before. This is related to parapublic and defense helicopter things for EMS, emergency medical services, and parapublic like gendarmerie and so on. And another corridor from Issy-les-Moulineaux to Saint-Cyr-l'École near Versailles. For various reasons. One was a strong opposition of the city council and so on. Jean-Christophe was reminding that yesterday, but also the lack of certifications of this platform and the French refusal from the GGSA to fly over the city. It was not possible, but nevertheless, Volocopter did with ADP quite interesting demonstrations of their skills. ADP unveiling the second vertiport in the gross big regions of Paris after 2 years before Pontoise. This was this time done near Versailles in Saint-Cyr-l'École. And Olivier Renard and all the team from Volocopter, Olivier Renard as chief test pilots from Volocopter, flew the machine over the park of the Castle of Versailles and so on. AMI was represented, our CEO and founder and Catalyst was there, Dan Slout. I was at that time hiking in the Dolomite in Italy, but it was certainly a great day. Public acceptance and first use case. I fully agree with Darrell that urban air mobility is maybe not gonna to take off as originally estimated, because it's continued to face a lot of skepticism and some clear public oppositions, being very often seen as an hype for rich people and related to some potential risk of accidents, noise for vast majority of citizens. Secondly, and we will see later, the certifications of those platforms is far to be easy and may further down delay the certifications and therefore the entry in service. Vice versa, the regional air mobility, which use some existing platforms, and we have the chance, not only in UK, in France as well, in Germany as well, also in Italy, most probably as well, to have a very broad network of existing airfield and small airport called regional airport and so on. And I personally see more chance to really start and take off with that new air mobility, because it will clearly, pragmatically decarbon aviations using full electric or hybrid electric. It will also, that's mean fighting in a certain extent the aviation's bashing that we are seeing, hearing everywhere and so on. And we have to do our homework. We are doing our homework, and we are bringing some solutions. This is existing airfield and structures, and we are reopening very easy and customer-friendly point-to-point regional routes. For example, Lilian before their issues, and I really welcome the new creations of a new Lilium to continue, hopefully, and to succeed. They had a project with Urban V and the Côte d'Azur Airport to launch eVTOL networks in south of France. It was deemed to be 2026. It will certainly be delayed. If it goes by 2028 or 2030, it will already be some things. Even though this is not my domain of expertise, it's interesting also to see that the drone deliveries, the usage of commercial usage of drone, not only for, I would say, fancy purpose and so on, but really is taking over in France as well. We have had the first commercial use of drones with a company called Delive Drone, transporting medical goods and probes between hospitals and laboratories, both in Normandy as well as in Maubeuge regions near Lille in the north of France. Another further initiatives is done by the Bordeaux Airport with their innovations team, teaming with Azure Drone and the French authorities, the DGSE, to test inclusions of BVLS drone operations in the airport domain. That's being integrating in the airport domain, which is normally a very safe and contained area because of the air traffic and so on. And it's opens the operations of beyond visual line of sight drones and so on. Moving further, the regional air mobility readiness is just illustrating what I said before. I will go quick because the time is counted and so on. This is just a map of France, and you see that in every department, in every region, there is a regional. Likewise, Darrell was mentioning for UK, and it will be certainly interesting to extend the UK perspective and study to France. I can put you in contact with LS Airports and some others doing that. Another further interesting initiative is Val d'Oise Development Agency called CEVO. And I think Jean-François is amongst us listening to this. We last summer with Dan Slout signed an agreement with the CEVO to develop this urban and regional air mobility in the growth regions of Paris. And later on, Jean-François was also signed with Guam Mobility, Boren Daouadi, which is also an AAMI advisor, to develop a model of intra-modality transport integrating the novel air mobility. So things are moving on this domain. And in terms of upcoming events, you will pardon me to go a little bit above and beyond France, because I am traveling quite a lot across Europe and abroad. In France, we have next week's Towards Sustainable Aviation Summit, the TSAS Summit, which is organized by the 3AF community. Afterwards, in the chronology, we will have Aero Friedrichshafen in the southern part of Germany, on which the new air mobility and greener mobility is more and more represented. EBACE in Geneva, on which I may have a conflict of dates, may not be this year's be there, but last year we had some interesting panels with Aéroport de Paris, with Dan Slouts, with people from Eaton on the charging devices and so on, especially towards deliveries of emergency medical services and first response to medical illness and so on. European Rotor will be by the end of the years, again, having also some stage specific on it. The dear Catherine is also speaking and promoting also women in the urban air mobility and regional air mobility. And last but not least, we will have AirTech with the Vertical Flight Society AAM sessions, on which also Dan Slout was speaking last year and so on. I will be for and on behalf of the AAMI speaking at Aerospace Tech Weeks early March in München. And so we are all globally with our other European liaisons in Europe, so maintaining and developing contact within the ecosystem. That's pretty much for me. As a conclusions, in many countries, we notice a race to fundings for many of the French launch program. Certifications, at least for ESA in Europe, but also FAR, is obviously more difficult and hence longer to get than too optimistically envisioned. We spoke more in detail on the last forum. I didn't want to repeat too much on it. Companies or projects are continuing to move fast. Aura Aerospace especially was in mid of December launching and celebrating the first flight of their manned two-seater now available with electrical propulsions, Integral E for electric. They also announced the groundbreaking of the US factory built in Daytona Beach to serve the US market. Volta Aero have also launched their future factory in Rochefort, which is on the Atlantic coast near the original seat of Royan. Bear in mind that Volta Aero also signed a long-term agreement and the stakeholders agreement with Kawasaki as major investors. Ascendance continue to mature their Sterna hybrid propulsion systems. Bear in mind that Ascendance is not only developing a platform, but also developing an agnostic hybrid propulsion systems that will use on board of their platform, but also make available to some others. And in terms of propulsions, Turbotech have recently teamed already quite a long time with Air Liquide in terms of hydrogen generations, and Elixir Aircraft doing some acrobatic aircraft and training aircraft to develop. And they recently tested the first hydrogen turbo engines to be fitted on future platform. That's pretty much in the 5 given minutes. Maybe it was much too long. Sorry for that. But any questions, do not hesitate to contact me on LinkedIn or on my cell phone. Thank you very much. And again, Happy New Year. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you for the organizers.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And then I would like to introduce the liaison to Liechtenstein, Noel Sterling, if you are there. Yep, I see you.
Yes, hope you can hear me.
I can.
Let's see. And if you can see the presentation now, we are all good and ready to go.
Excellent. Looks good.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you very much to have the opportunity to speak here as the liaison of Liechtenstein. I am a medical professional specializing in laboratory medicine, and I'm leading all the drone projects in Liechtenstein from the medical perspective. Those of you who don't know where Liechtenstein is, it's the 6th smallest country in the world between Switzerland and Austria. And therefore, we are a member of the European Union of Aviation Safety Agency, the EASA, and all the regulations basically that we have in terms of drones are the same as for Switzerland. And the Swiss Federal Bureau of Aviation says it is responsible for aviation development and the supervision of civil aviation activities in Switzerland and also in Liechtenstein. In terms of industry milestones, we did the first implementation of drones used for medical transport in 2023. With a company called JETSI, which is also from Liechtenstein, Switzerland, and with Dr. Riesch, the company I work for, now belonging to Sonic Healthcare, which is now the biggest laboratory in Switzerland and in Liechtenstein. And in terms of public sentiments, well, it's a very small but very innovative country. drones in the medical field are widely accepted. The only negative displays or things we hear from the public are basically noise complaints around landing and takeoff areas at the moment. But we try to mitigate that with talking to the drone companies and try different rotors or whatnot or motors to mitigate that a little bit. Also, I had the opportunity to present all the work we do to the Prince of Liechtenstein, and he's very invested also in this progress and also in science in generally, and is also a donator and beneficiary for this project of medical drones in Liechtenstein. Upcoming events, we're a very small country, so we have none, but we are of course focusing more on the well, events that are most in the German parts for us German speakers, like in Austria, Germany, and so on, and abroad, of course, more international. And well, to have a conclusions on that, we try further implementing drones, especially in the medical field. Well, transportation in Liechtenstein is not a real issue for us to optimize because it's a very small country, right? So we do more laboratory samples. We also want to transfer blood products, and also there are projects also together with Austria to fly AEDs, especially to the mountainous regions and the ski resorts. And challenges we face, I think everybody faces them in the medical field, or the biggest challenge is always to seamlessly integrate those drones into existing medical workflow, especially laboratories. And yeah, I put it here in quotes, my project, because it's not my project alone. It's a lot of people involved. But I am happy to have the lead on the medical side on this. It's very interesting. We tried to, well, implement those drones in this biggest laboratory in Switzerland, in Liechtenstein. And also an upcoming project is implementing drones in the Swiss National Blood Donation Center of transferring blood products. So between facilities and hospitals. And maybe at the end, quick summary of this scientific work we did. You can also find those papers online on Google Scholar, or wherever you find your papers, where we show on one paper the real-time CO2 reduction for four mountainous regions as Switzerland and Liechtenstein, the real life distance savings, and also there is a paper on the pre-analytics issue we did, where we tested blood samples and serum and put them through all of the drone maneuvers, and saw that there is no big issue, which is also important, especially for in the medical field, to have a proof of concept, and also proof of well, that there is no pre-analytical issues, because otherwise it would be hard to sell this, and also hard to implement it in a medical field. So thank you very much for listening and having me.
Absolutely, really appreciate that. Next, we're gonna hear from the liaison to Tunisia, Mohammed Mahdi Sayed. Mohammed, are you ready to go?
Hello.
There you are.
Yes, I am. If you see my screen now, if it's okay.
It did come up. Yep. If you want to play the slideshow so it comes up larger.
Okay, right now.
Beautiful. Yep. I got your audio loud and clear. I don't see video, but that's up to you. But I do hear your audio and I see your screen. So take it away.
Okay, thank you. Hello everybody. I'm Majdi Said from Tunisia. So I'll start by introducing myself. I started as an airline pilot. Then I changed to air traffic controller. And since 2016, I worked as a UAV operator maintainer. And now I am doing my PhD with the Smart Lab in unmanned traffic management based on AI. So Firstly, I will introduce Tunisia. It's the top of North Africa. Our steps in EAM, it's just we are starting our first steps. For our technology, our innovation, we have main focus on computer vision to detect and avoid with collaboration with university and some laboratory. For initiative of project, we developed. We have pilot project was adopted by African Development Bank in partnership with the Korean African Economic Cooperation, launched to utilize drone for agriculture. For our partnership, our collaboration, we have some private company as Abionab Internet are producing their first drones and the system for integration with managed traffic management. And for the legislation, we are still undergoing the legislative process. For the public sentiment, I think that's it's common here. We have positive sentiment. We accept the drones, but there is some concern about security, especially for the security potential for illegal activity using drones and the privacy until now, and some safety concern. For here in Tunisia, we are still operating the drone in a restricted area. There is now integration into shared airspace. For upcoming events, we don't have any upcoming event until now. I will move to conclusion. For in Tunisia, have a promising potential for advancing AAM, especially in academic area, with the collaboration with the university and some scientific laboratory. For the opportunity, all the drones are for now are used for pipeline surveys, especially in the desert with the oil pipeline survey and for the agriculture. But we have the challenge until now that's the regularity, especially the legislation with the even until now we don't have the license and the codes for drone operator. I will talk a little bit about my project. And this is the theme of my thesis. This is it's the separation management based in artificial intelligence with focus in 11U4. We adopted the use-based framework for the integration of drones. Our objective is to develop a AI-driven system for separation management. And we have the case feature that's US-based framework adaptation, and we still we have some issues with the simulator now for the validation. This is it. That's a short presentation from our work. If you want to connect with me for my project, this is my LinkedIn. And thank you for everything.
Thank you, Matti. I really appreciate it. And then I'd like to introduce the liaison to Italy, Salvo Forese. Salvo, there you are, sir. I cannot hear your audio, but I do see the video. Let's see. Do you see the option to unmute on the Zoom? Bottom left, usually of the tray or of the window. I still don't hear you. I do see. I asked. Wonder if there's a way for me to unmute you. I don't know. I
It's
do
okay.
see. There you are. Yep. And I see your screen. So take it away. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Salvo Forzese. I've been working for the development advanced mobility for some years. As a liaison for the Advanced Mobility Institute in Italy, I dedicate my efforts for create synergy between institutions, local communities, and technological innovation. Italy has established itself as a European leader in advanced air mobility, thanks to innovative regulatory framework and pioneering initiatives promoted by INAC. Key regulations such as those for vertical takeoff and landing and the EU space system have set standards for safe and efficient operation that are internationally recognized and adopted. The AAM 2021-2030 National Strategic Plan guides this transformation, integrating regulations, infrastructure, and pilot projects. The province of Chieti hosted the first EU space zone in Europe, an achievement that demonstrates Italy's commitment to technological innovation. Initiatives such as the agreement between the INAC and the National Department of Digital Transformation led to the development of HyperTwin, a digital twin platform to optimize airspace management. On the infrastructure front, cities such as Varese, Venice, and Rome are building strategic vertiports to support AAM operations. In addition, DTS, excuse me, oops. Excuse me. DTS Growth Rotaia Test Bed, in collaboration with Telespazio, is testing solution for bivouac flights and joint integration in controlled airspace. Practical applications such as Poste Italiane's deliveries to Ireland, Amazon Prime's first flight, flying basket solutions for EV loads and junk transport experiments in urban and remote settings show how Italy is building an innovative and replicable AAM ecosystem ready to respond to global urban mobility and healthcare needs. Public acceptance is a crucial component to the success of advanced air mobility. The studies such as the Ohio case show that citizens appreciate the tangible benefits such as quick delivery of living-saving drugs or the use of drones for infrastructure and agricultural monitoring. However, concepts remain related to safety, privacy, and measure of the technology like military utilization. In Italy, overcoming these barriers requires a participatory approach that involves local communities through co-design initiatives and hands-on demonstrations. 2025 will be a crucial year to consolidate advanced air mobility. Successful 2024 events such as Drone Italy, Rome Drone Conference, Next Generation Mobility, and the International Symposium at the Polo Tecnologico di Navacchio will be revived with updated focuses to explore new technological and strategic developments. In February 2025, the Milan Polytechnic's Drone Observatory will host to discuss the transition for AAM trials to operations. The future of the advanced air mobility in Italy requires an approach that is not limited to technological experimentation, but that translates strategic vision into operational solutions through an inclusive and collaborative debate, building on the dialogue initiated with ANCI Toscana. I have been working for the next step to expand this dialogue to the national level involving ANCI Nazionale, regulatory bodies such INAC, and public and private stakeholders to build a collaborative network that puts the territory at the center, ensuring the AAM technologies meet their specific needs. The goal is to create an ecosystem that integrates sustainable design, social innovation, national strategic coordination. This approach will not only consolidate Italy's role as a European leader in AM, but will create a replicable model for a dialogue between technological innovation and the needs of territories. Through my ongoing commitment, I intend to transform the potential of AAM into an engine of cultural, social, and economic progress, making Italy a central reference for the entire European landscape. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And now we'll hear from the liaison to Angola. To stop sharing the screen. Perfect. And so that'd be Custodio. You want to pull up your audio video and try sharing the screen as well. If everybody else wouldn't mind just muting when you have the chance, but Custodio, are you out there? Let's see. Right. Don't know if we've got Custodio on the line. I'll give it another few seconds. Amin, let me know if you see anything different there, but I don't see them. So I will move forward for now, and then if I need to come back, I will there. But I guess we will go to the liaison to Morocco. Cagni, are you available? And Salvo, I think you're unmuted still, just so you know. You might want to mute. Oh, there you go. Muted. We're good.
All right. Can you see my screen?
There you go. Yep. Perfect. Thanks for coming right up.
Okay.
I'm screen and your audio.
Okay, perfect. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon for everyone. My name is Kombe Kanye, and I'm PhD researcher at the International University of Rabat. I'm working on a propulsion system for mainly focusing on aerodynamic aeroacoustic for propeller design so far. So I'm gonna talking about what Morocco is doing so far in AAM field. And as you know, Morocco is just a North African country in the north side, and it's the best place to people come every year for tourism or visit so far. So regarding what Morocco is doing so far in AAM is kind of like a new topic here, but I'm gonna just talk about what is done so far like lately. And in December 2023, there was like one agreement signed again between Morocco government and Safran. Safran is a one old company or partnership of Morocco since 1999. And the agreement is focused mainly on sustainable aviation and development of the component manufacturers here locally in Morocco, and this to promote the local talent and development. And recently in October 2024, there was like in Marrakesh Air Show. As you know, Air Show is where many stakeholder company in aviation come together to present their new technology, and it's also the Carrefour where many people come to sign a new agreement so far. So at this place, Morocco signed a new agreement between Embraer company, the Brazilian one, where to develop like a commercial aviation to expand the ecosystem, integrates also the regional transportation using the RAM Royal Air Morocco. And also those to focus also on decarbonization and produce a more sustainable fuel. I was there as well. I was there with the Ministry of Industry of Morocco, and I present some what we are doing at my university as a research. And topic here is mainly focused on rockets. I presented a rocket that we're doing so far, but again, we present some eVTOL that we're doing there as well. So far, between the agreement focus mainly on expansion of the aeronautical ecosystem in Morocco, and also the maintenance and fabrication of the components should be done locally. And there are some kind of ongoing pilot projects in to integrate UAM, urban transportation regionally with the AAM, Rare Air Morocco. And as you know, Morocco is trying to be a leader in hydrogen fuel production and biofuel. So they invest a lot of money in researches regarding renewable energy, including also the biofuel, sustainable fuel, and everything that is related to climate decarbonization so far. So development of the industry zone, also they invest a lot of money to develop the industry zone for company, and they attract many company, external company to come install their local here in Morocco so far. So due to the placement, local geographical position of Morocco, this allow that so far. And then the government so far is working on adapting on international AAM safety regulation to the Morocco framework, and they currently invest a lot of money in training education to form a new leader of the AAM field. So the focus was mainly focused on education. And you can see so far nowadays that there are many UAV companies that's installing Morocco, focused on different agriculture, cinematography, video, everything so far. So also energy and as well. And as you can see here, we also at the International University of Rabat, which is UIR, we work on a different drone technology, and then we are trying to design a new drone that will be presented later on. Regarding the public sentiment and public perception, so far when you talk about like a UAM or AM, it's kind of like an excitement so far, because it's provide like a faster, efficient, and eco-friendly system for transportation, taking into account that in the biggest city in Morocco, which is Casablanca, the traffic congestion index in 2023 reached up to 55, which is quite high. And then we can see here on the graph that we have so far that is mainly average around the 30 each days. Means that especially at the entry of the service and the exit of the service, the traffic that we may take like 15 minutes can take up to hours sometime. So there are some action that is going on here in order to increase the public awareness. And so far there is a public awareness campaign which is called Morocco Role in Global Electromobility Revolution. This is to inform, educate the population about the e-mobility and what are the advantages in so. And once we go more in talking about advanced UAM, there is like huge concern about that regarding the public acceptance. What the main question was like, am I going to have my single air vehicle? What about the visual congestion in the air? What's the air congestion? And what about the increased community? I think those questions are mainly the same question so far, over or worldwide as well. So in the upcoming events, Morocco is hosting like a GTS Africa in April 2025. Also, the International Conference on Aeronautical and Aerospace in Jordan, it will be both in Marrakesh in 14, 16, and 17, 18 as well. And there is a third Mediterranean Conference on Control and Automation, where different companies come and present their technology. I think many drone companies will come so far also. And there is an aerospace meeting in Casablanca on October 2025. So far, those are the confirmed activity of upcoming event in Morocco. And to conclude, as I said before in the beginning, that EAM is kind of a new concept. So in order to inform, we need to organize like some kind of like informative event to inform the population about what are the advantages and what's to be aware about the things. And then also the government itself, knowing about that, they found a lot of research regarding those topics. AAM presents like a huge opportunity, especially for Morocco in transportation area also. taking into account that technology is kind of a big country actually. And then some trip that if you take like a train or bus, it can take 7 hours. Simple by local regional transportation can take like an hour or less. And this, I mean, the challenges, of course, they are there. There are security challenges as well, energy and regulation and public acceptance that we need to work on. To talk about my personal projects, actually at the International Event of Rabat, we are focused mainly on the design of the propeller. So we know that the new eVTOL aircraft that they are using so far, they are using multi-rotor configuration. And those configuration, I mean, mainly we use those configuration to reduce the noise because once you have the smaller propeller, we consume less power and then produce less noise. But however, there is an interaction, aerodynamic interaction, because the flow, when the propeller is close proximity, they generate the flow, and then the number of woods, there's a aerodynamic interaction between the propeller that we need to take in consideration. This can cause like instability in the performance of the vehicle. Also, taking into the fact that if you use small rotor, we reduce the noise, of course, but the point that if you take just compared to the smaller drones, the noise is still high. So the community noise will need to still be high. So we at the International University of Rabat, in conjunction with the TVDF Technology, University of Technology, we are working to design new propeller that will reduce noise. So if someone wants to have more information about what we are doing so far, feel free to contact me and reach me on LinkedIn by my full name. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Awesome. I'm going to move to Portugal, Baruska.
Yes.
Yep. All right. You want to get, yep, I see your video. I hear your audio. If you want to get your presentation up and running.
Perfect. Can you see my screen?
It looks great. It's full screen. Take it away. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So I'm Verusca Diaz, Chief Strategy and Growth Officer at Speedboard Aero, today representing Portugal. Portugal is a very active country in the advanced air mobility field, participating, for example, in several European research consortia to develop technologies, new vehicles, solutions for multimodal transportation. We have a whole agenda called Aeronext, focusing in regional transportation, but also in manned vehicles and advanced air mobility services. The country is also focusing in guidelines for implementation, for example, the Maturity UAM project. Commercially speaking, the main companies here are focusing in cargo mobility first to unlock the environment, build the infrastructure that's necessary, and provide high robustness solutions. So we have some key players here focusing in multi-odor, but also VTOL transportation and developing emergency systems, for example, flight termination system, because we believe that this is the type of technology that will unlock urban operations. We have some major projects, collaborations, and trials. Two of them focusing in the healthcare sector, because we recognize that this is the use case with highest public acceptance. And starting in 2024, we also are aiming to implement new infrastructures, for example, converting heliports in vertiports, and also providing trials about the integration between manned and unmanned aircraft. In May, we have a big exercise here to coordinate helicopter operations and drone operations in Lisbon, what will include several potential collaborators here, actors of our ecosystem. We also have government initiatives on this field. So in 2024, we launched through the cluster, the aerospace cluster, the technological roadmap for Portugal's aeronautical sector, and advanced air mobility is one of the technological domains that are there. And the country is also investing in new sandboxes, trying to put Portugal as a test zone for not only Portuguese players, but also international players. We have good weather, we have very good operational conditions. So this is an investment that we saw in 2024. We have some municipalities like Oeiras that are more active in the sense of provide events and also creating new infrastructures. They are creating the new vertiports also. Or CAA ANAC is very proactive, so they provided several case studies. They published the as guidance material, helping the operators, the UAS operators here in Portugal, regarding the European framework implementation. In terms of UAS operators, we are growing. So in 2024, more than 25%. And with this very well organized framework, we are growing fast. So this is the most recent example from our CAA. So they developed a complete roadmap to basically implement European standards, creating new tools for U-space implementation. They provided activation, disactivation of dynamic U-spaces in different regions of the country. And nowadays we have at least 4 regions tested and validated for U-space implementation at national level. The public sentiment is also positive. So we have a lot of research studies conducted here, majority of them considering Lisbon or capital. If we consider the metropolitan population, more than 60% of this population know what is advanced air mobility and urban air mobility, what is the proposal, what is the concept, and more than 74% they have interesting using the technology. Of course, they are concerned about travel costs, safety, security, noisy pollution, environment concerns, but at the end, they recognize the benefits, for example, time saving, contribution to lesser pollution, and the pleasure by itself. So they are helping us now to select vertiport locations, for example, giving us data about what is the public acceptance in terms of urban planning, to use the parking lots, to use the existing helipads, heliports, airports as the first places for vertiport implementations. We started now a new phase here in terms of public acceptance. We started classifying them in terms of adoption. So we are now classifying them in cluster to understand what is our timeline. And this kind of research gives us very good insight regarding what are the expected benefits, considering the timeline, the safety variables they have in mind, and finally their intention to use. So we can basically classify what is the intention to use accordingly with the receptiveness of our population. And to finalize, like I mentioned, the network is still focusing in cargo mobility first, to unlock the infrastructure, unlock the regulation, everything that's necessary to basically implement the business. And with this kind of research, we are able to explore the business model by itself with willingness to pay, for example. In terms of events, we have at least 6 events per year here, some of them focusing in network, some of them focusing in operational trials, and some of them in the technology exposition by itself. Our conclusions, we are focusing in understand what are the expectations and requirements from our stakeholders, and what we see from our results from 2024 is that basically they are concerned now about the integration. So how we will integrate this new means of transportation with multimodal transportation. How can we provide the smart cities data in real time? How we will share the data? So this is the type of concerns we have now. They believe the technology is safe enough and mature to go forward, but we must provide integration. And it is a good opportunity for us. We are basically developing a lot of cutting edge technology and providing new job positions, so the economically also is viable to the country. Regarding my project, I am Chief Strategy and Growth Officer at Speedbird, so coordinating the company expansion in terms of business model and also the robustness of our technology. So we have more than 31,000 flights, commercial flights around the world, flying BVLOS in 8 countries. We have some specific certifications, for example, to transport biological substances. We are focusing on 2 main pillars. The first one is the productive robustness, to fly at least in medium risk. I'm in high risk for 2025. We received in 2024 more than 1 permanent operational exemptions based in this robustness. And now we are basically growing the business, thinking about the sustainable and scalable business model that we can provide to B2C and B2B clients, thinking about unit economics, because at the end, we believe that we can scale the technology only if we can provide the robustness and the unit economics. That's it. This is my contact, and it will be a pleasure being in touch with you guys.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. And Phil, I see you on video, liaison to the United Kingdom, Philip Butterworth Hayes. Would love to hear from you. And when you want to take over the screen, pull it up and kick it off.
Thanks very much indeed, David. So I'm trying to share here. Bear with me 1 second. Where are we? Can you see that okay?
I do not see a screen popping up yet.
Interesting. Okay, hang on 1 second, sorry.
You have multiple monitors, we know that, so probably it's on another screen.
Okay, sorry. Still can't see it? No?
No, not yet.
Assuming you're clicking the share button, and then what comes up when you see that? Do you see? Oh, something's spinning up here, and there it is. Once you hit click on that, we should see it full screen.
Great. Thank you. You can see it full screen, can you? Yeah.
Not yet.
Should be able to now.
There it is. Take it away.
Great. Thank you. Well, I'm sorry about that. So my name is Philip Butterworth Hayes. I'm the editorial director of Unmanned Publications. We publish urban air mobility news, unmanned airspace, global AAM, UAM market map. And thank you for inviting me here. And thank you, Daryl, for doing a fantastic job of actually doing what I'm supposed to do. So this gives me an opportunity to perhaps dive a little bit deeper into what's happening in the UK and bring out some of the things which we are going through in a country which will have a wider repercussion for the industry. So this is an opportunity which I'm not going to miss. So as we know, the 2 great milestones in our industry will be in the drone space, the start of widespread beyond visual line of sight commercial operations at scale in cities. And in the passenger carrying eVTOL area, the type certification of eVTOLs and the start of commercial operations. And in the UK, we are making, I'd say, very slow but steady progress towards these goals. My forecast is that for 2027, we're going to be starting the widespread BVLOS drone operations. And in 2028 or 2029, the start of commercial eVTOL operations. This is a bit slower than elsewhere. And we've had a few important milestones in this area over the last few months, which Daryl has highlighted before me. So that's a couple of interesting social and political points I'd like to pick up. Leaving the European Union has given us both the advantages and disadvantages. So on the one hand, we've been able to pick and choose the best regulatory approaches from the EU and the USA, but we don't have the same advantages of scale and resources as can be found elsewhere. So we've been relatively slow in progressing from one-off trials to proper commercialization. The regulatory environment is extremely complex because of this, but we have to thank the British Standard Institute, who a couple of days ago published its Future Flight Systems report, which makes sense of it all. And this is really a must for anyone wanting to do AAM business in the UK. I've got a link to that at the bottom, the BSI Group report. It really is extremely good. The one word which you are not allowed to mention in the UK in advanced air mobility is pizzas. And we have prioritized almost exclusively the transport of medical supplies in the drone space, which is a great use case, but it's not a great business case. So one of the hurdles that we have will be moving away from the issue of popular supply of medical goods to moving to pizzas, and that's going to be a huge leap for us. Public sentiments, we haven't done a lot for that, but this is an opportunity for me to highlight the work that one of our next speakers is doing, and that's Maria Tarabanovska from Flight Crowd, and she is really one of the pioneers in this industry, and I urge you to hang around and wait for what she has to say. It's going to be great. A couple of upcoming events. They are what they are. So the outlook, well, these speak for themselves, really. Our biggest challenge, I think, things we haven't spoken about here yet, is the role of local authorities, the non-aviation stakeholders in UAM. Building an operational vertiport in a city centre will require addressing over 80 bylaws and building regulations. And in the UK, this will be a complete nightmare. And clearly the best job in advanced air mobility at the moment is being a lawyer. Luckily, we have many underused airfields throughout the country, as Daryl has pointed out, and I expect that eVTOL operations in the UK will be predominantly based there rather than urban centres. This is my project. I'm very proud of it. It's called AAM for Gov. It's UKRI funded, so everything here is free. It's an educational website which connects the drone and local authority communities. So it teaches local authorities about why they should adopt drones and eVTOLs, and it teaches the advanced air mobility industry about how to work with the local authorities. And this is something which has been entirely overlooked so far. So everybody wants to start urban services, but very few people know actually how local authorities work, who makes the decisions, what the bylaws are, what the restrictions are, how they work with the aviation regulatory authority, who owns the airspace, who owns the properties. All this is incredibly complex, and we've wanted to do a little bit of work on that. So to teach or to educate eVTOL and drone operators how to actually start working with the local authorities. So this is something which is quite new and quite exciting. Everything is free. We are looking to internationalize it. So we're looking for partners to take this from the UK and widen it and make it an educational resource that everybody can use for free. So that's it. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for the Institute. Thanks for Daryl, a good friend whose opinions I agree 99% with, and it's been a fantastic opportunity to give our view of the UK. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Phil. Really appreciate it. A lot going on there. It's pretty exciting. I will announce then the liaison to the USA, Marilyn Pearson. And go ahead, Marilyn, when you have a chance to jump on audio, video, and share your screen.
I hope you can see my screen.
That came right up. Absolutely.
Very good.
If you want to, yep, looks like you're going to click the slideshow.
There we go.
Do it.
Well, good morning, afternoon, and evening to everyone, and thank you to AAMI. And it's been amazing even to listen to all of the global network and liaisons, listening to all of the activities and exciting things that are going around the globe. My name is Marilyn Pearson. I currently work for CAE. We are based in Montreal, Canada. I am in the US. I'm the regulatory lead. My background is as a corporate and commercial pilot. I retired from the FAA as regulator, and now that is my role in our large AAM group at CAE. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about what's happening in the US. And I'm going to start.
You want to share it full screen? It does, you don't have to, but it look a little bit cleaner.
Oh, sorry. Is it not?
I thought it was going to come up as full screen but give it a second. Huh. Maybe it's popping up on another screen somehow, but
It is another screen.
looks okay. If you could maybe zoom out, I just don't even see the full
Hold
slide.
on. Let me stop for a moment and we'll try again. See if we can do this. How about now?
Beautiful. All right, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Better? All right. So I'd like to start with public sentiment because here in the US, we were headed in the right direction with drones, with eVTOLs, and about a month ago, there was a lot of activity. I'll call it activity. People were on the East Coast of the US seeing drones at night and getting very upset that they assumed these were spy drones, aliens. We have no idea. It did become news at the headlines every day. Obviously, if you look up at night and gets dark early now, we see twinkling lights. So people get very excited. Obviously, we were trying to dispel all of this. However, the police were reporting things like, well, they come out at night and they're gone during the day. Obviously, we can't see the lights during the day. So this became a huge issue. It didn't do anything to help the support for drone activities, which in this country are quite active. A lot of beyond visual line of sight work, a lot of delivery, a lot of use in inspections. So we did finally have that sort of settled down, and our friend Taylor Swift, the wonderful singer, would say, you need to calm down. However, right after that, in the events that were going on in California, the terrible wildfires, we had a drone impact one of Canada's aircraft, as you can see in this picture, and create another sort of firestorm, if you will, with drones. So we're working very hard to go back to positive outlook for drones. And hopefully you can see my next screen.
Yep, if you're on the right slide there, the 2024 updates.
Oh,
It
yes.
skipped.
So I think we skipped one. Let me see. How about that? We'll go back one.
It's delayed by a couple seconds, I'm thinking, but give it a second.
This is show 2024 updates.
Yes, this is,
I saw it flash really quick. Well, another slide, and then it skips right to this one.
Okay, 2024 updates. How are we doing? I hope you can all see. So what's going on? We talked a little bit about the drone world. We are seeing in the US efforts to incorporate drones with eVTOLs. I think my slide has gone away, unfortunately. Perhaps I've deleted it by trying to go back. Let's see if I can bring it up.
UAS drone regulatory updates.
Yes, can you see that?
Could you please stop sharing the screen? I can do that.
Yes, I mean, if you would do it, I'm having,
Sure.
computer issues here, obviously. So let me stop sharing and I will give you control if you would mind.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So with the drone regulations here in the US, what's happening is we are looking at beyond visual line of sight regulations that were prepared, but the proposals have not been published, in spite of the fact that the US Congress had mandated that they would be published in September. We're looking forward very much to seeing these early. Right now, what we're doing is approving through waivers and exemptions. There are several beyond visual line of sight waivers that have been issued for Part 135 operations, the commercialization operations, to several companies. We're seeing deliveries and inspections and so forth. We see a continued investment in counter drones. It's a global effort. Obviously, cybersecurity is at the forefront. We here in the US have an effort to increase US manufacture. The National Defense Authorization Act has worked hard to eliminate what we'll call cyber attacks, if you will. I'll just leave it at that. We are seeing universities now promoting more UAS, AAM areas of study, developing that with grants. The FAA is working closely with NASA in support of UTM key sites to promote integration and traffic management. We have an FAA reauthorization bill that is very favorable toward UAS integration. If you'd like to go to the next slide. Thank you. So some updates on what's going on in the eVTOL world. eVTOL, powered lift, VTOL capable aircraft. We're all talking about the same thing. We're anticipating here in the US that the first certification could be late this year, perhaps next year. The FAA is working closely with EASA and others, ongoing talks to try to harmonize the operations and make them international operations. We see quite a lot of partnerships in the building of the infrastructure, specifically with vertiport companies. Recently an engineering brief, EB-105, was published. It integrates the vertiport designs into helicopter design operations, and that is publicly available. There's quite a lot of hydrogen research. We recently saw Joby doing flight tests using hydrogen and a flight of 523 miles. ANAC is working very closely in the US for certification. We also heard from others about Lilium and Volocopter. We're seeing EHang now operating in 18 countries with test flights. And specifically here at CAE, we're working with VR and MR technologies. These are being certified now for use in the training of pilots, maintainers, and air traffic controllers. And next slide, please. So everyone has probably heard that the FAA has published a regulation about what we are terming powered lift aircraft. That's everything from the very small single seat all the way up to a Leonardo 609. So this is a special federal aviation regulation. It means it is temporary in that it will last 10 years. During that time, there could be changes as we collect data and we learn more. One of the key takeaways here, the initial rule said that everyone should be training in a dual seat, dual control aircraft. That's changed to single seat, single control aircraft with the use of simulators quite effectively for these ratings. The difference between the US and others is that we have the category called powered lift, which means that you need to take a check ride for 3 different ratings: the commercial powered lift, the instrument powered lift, and the type rating for each and every aircraft, because they're all so different. Next slide. So what's happening in the US? We have quite a lot of upcoming events, both for UAS and for eVTOL and for combined events all throughout the year. We also, through CAE, participate in quite a lot of these, so I will be attending as many as possible, time and budget allowing. And my next slide, which is not in this slide deck, but I'll tell you a little bit about what my projects are. Currently, in addition to doing the regulatory work within CAE and our AAM team, I am chair of FAA International G35, modeling, simulation, and training for emerging aviation technologies and concepts, producing standards, hopefully for the use of regulators and OEMs, any others. I am the new chair of eVTOL Insights, Women in AAM. You'll see more about that soon. I participate on 2 different rulemaking teams with EASA for the pilot licensing of eVTOL pilots, called VTOL Capable Aircraft Pilots with EASA. I'm also a member of and work very closely with ICCAIA and an advisory group for ICAO and Gamma Electric Propulsion Innovation Committee leadership team member, and serve with the UKCAA on their eVTOL safety leadership group, of course, being a liaison here with AAMI and several other groups as time permits. Next slide. This is my contact information. I'm also on LinkedIn and would love to connect with anyone here on this panel and in our audience. So thank you very much for the time.
Wonderful. Thank you. Really appreciate that. So the last presenter of the day will be a keynote from Maria from Flight Crowd. Maria, if you want to pull up your slideshow or whatever you're going to present. I see you on camera. And
That's right. Thanks so much, David, for the introduction. Just give me 1 second. I promise you, I'll try and make it as worthy of your time as I possibly can. I appreciate I'm standing between the lunch, dinner, or breakfast for all of our attendees. Let me just present entire screen, and hopefully you'll be able to see my presentation. Is it coming up, David?
it is thinking, maybe. There it is. So yeah, if you want to present at full screen, that might be best if you can.
Brilliant. Hopefully you can see that all right. Thanks so much for the invitation to all the team and the AAM Institute. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here and address you all. I know it's been incredible 2 days already. I've been tuning in, pretty much listening to all the presentations from different regions around the world, different individuals. And I'm here to tell you a slightly different story. Yes, I'm tuning in from the UK, and I'm speaking from the experience of myself being an aerospace engineer, UK Department for Transport Aviation ambassador, an award-winning entrepreneur, and also volunteer who's passionate about giving back to the community and very much empowering the future flight workforce. And I would like to talk to you a bit about the role of the public. We'll talk about who the public is and ourselves in shaping this future of electric aviation. We've talked a lot about public perception and how the numbers differ between different regions. But to me, the public, when we say public in general, is not just the end user. We talk a lot about how many people will be getting on board of our eVTOL, so how many people will benefit from the UAV operations of cargo transportation, whatever it may be. But it's also the workforce and many other people who aren't yet involved in the ecosystem and who we don't even think about potentially involving. Flight Crowd does a lot of work on public engagement. I'll come back to my day-to-day role, but Flight Crowd does a lot of work on public engagement. And one of the recent air shows that we have attended, where we spoke to over 1,000 people, specifically from aerospace background and aviation professionals and enthusiasts, can you imagine that 93% of them haven't heard about the electric aviation sector and didn't really believe us when we were telling them about all the developments in the sector globally? That is quite alarming to me. And I know we do a lot of work as the industry to share the incredible stories of success and share our progress, but we do seem to fail a lot of the time to engage also the wider public. Not just the professionals who work in your defence and traditional aerospace and mechanical engineering and other automotive industries and similar, but also people who will become that future workforce. And talking about the workforce and talking about the role of young people, specifically focusing on the UK at the moment, but I know the figures are very similar across the world. Engineering UK is done research, and 11 to 19-year-olds, less than half of them know anything about engineering. Over half of the 16 to 17-year-olds feel like science and maths are difficult subjects compared to others, and only 39% know what they want to do in the future. We're talking about young people who, yes, aren't ready to shape the industry today, but they're the ones who will be shaping the industry tomorrow, and the time is absolutely now to start engaging them, because once we all retire, those who are in this room virtually, there will need to be somebody who will take over, who will keep developing the industry and continue bringing it to its next developments. Who's addressing the issue? Well, I've kind of mentioned a bit about FlightCrowd. I started FlightCrowd 4 years ago. We're an educational not-for-profit, and we're here to inform, engage, and inspire the public on the topic of future flight. We do it in the UK, but also around the world, and we really are here to support all the developments that are happening within the sector, increase employability, and secure and protect the current investment of over $16 billion to date that has been invested into the industry. So much of this money has been spent on research and development, on regulatory compliances and flight testing, but we want to make sure that the social acceptance and desirability are there as well, because without those, the realization and scale up of this industry will be delayed or not materialize. And so what do we do exactly? Well, we do a lot of speaking, a lot of engagement, public workshops, focus groups, and user panel discussions, school university outreach presentations, youth competitions. You know, today I'm here addressing yourselves, people who are already experienced and passionate about the industry. Tomorrow I'll be going to a school talking to 16-year-olds and younger, and telling them why should they choose this industry, and why is this an exciting field for them. We do work experience, we do information training sessions. It doesn't just stop at young people. We indeed do similar work to our colleagues at AAM for Gov, and engage with a wide variety of publics, be it governments, be it again general public, etc. We really believe that for this industry to be a success on a global scale, the whole world needs to know about it, and the whole world needs to at least know about it and have a bit of an opinion. I'm not saying we need to convert 100% of the world population into lovers and believers and supporters and users of this technology, but we certainly need more than the public who's aware of this industry to be on our side to make sure that this actually works. So if this has been an interesting conversation, if this has sparked your interest and you would like to collaborate with us, we certainly have a lot of partners and collaborators who would probably be very upset with me because they didn't fit on my slide, but we work with everybody. We are everybody's friend genuinely, and I definitely don't see us competing with anybody, and I want to help the industry as much as possible, be it the future flight industry, be it the educational sector, the media and events partners that we have. We'd love to see how we can support your countries and your organizations and your projects, and bring our expertise in public engagement and community outreach, so that we can join the forces together and build a sustainable, equitable and inclusive future of flight for the benefit of all everywhere. So thank you so much. That's pretty much everything from me, and I hope you've enjoyed today, and I hope you have a fantastic day tomorrow. Thank you.
Wonderful, Maria, thank you so much. And I say, why not convert everybody in the world to be lovers and users of this technology? I think we're all for that on this call. So with that, we'll have some closing remarks here. Thanks everybody for your time and attention, and for the insights that each of you brought to the table. I personally got a lot from that, took a lot of notes, just having, you know, one perspective over here from the US side of things with the FAA and what they're doing and not doing, and new administration here, as you all know, as of yesterday, I believe. So, you know, we're right there on the cusp of hopefully moving things forward here, but it was just really cool to hear what everyone's doing. I think we all have somewhat similar challenges, somewhat similar, you know, movement forward, but really unique perspectives, because I think some folks are much further along than others. I mentioned earlier that we now don't have a solution in the US for geofencing because we're not allowed to legally stop a drone, like mitigate a drone. if it's flying over an airport, for example, which probably sounds crazy to some folks out there, but they're privately owned local infrastructure. So as an example, it's really interesting hearing what they're doing in Taiwan, and we're already dialoguing on the side here. But anyhow, love it. I think tomorrow's going to be amazing as well. Thanks, Amin, and Dan Sloat and the AAM Institute for putting this together. I'll just end for my portion here by saying, please do find me on LinkedIn, David Lewin. I'm very active on there, and I'm hosting a weekly podcast that I stream live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is, 5 hours from now. So whatever time that is, your time zone. But every Thursday, once a week, I host a live panel discussion with industry experts around AAM, drone delivery, and counter UAS to try to create this kind of healthy dialogue and collaborate moving forward. So thank you so much, Amin. I'll pass it to you.
Thank you. So, Catherine, you have the floor, our chair to Board of Liaisons.
So first of all, a big shout out to you, actually, to Dan and Kristen, the Board of Directors, the Board of Liaisons team, Philip, Rose, Fernanda, the regional coordinators, Aurélie Scheu, Paula, Keske, Rat. Thanks for all the efforts to make that happen. Also for the supporters, Frederick, Louis, Saka, Gloria, Chase, and Graham. I can continue like that, right? And last but not least, our sponsors, of course. I want to announce that we just launched the Aero Future podcast, Advanced Air Mobility Unveiled. This is a show weekly with an interview on YouTube as a video podcast, and on Spotify there are some educational episodes, more than one, but only as an audio podcast. And I want to make you aware that from the European Rotorcraft Women Network, we also have a podcast called Rotor Rendezvous. And today you will be able to listen to our fantastic Fernanda, and next week it's Gloria's stage to be in the podcast. So I've just shared the links in the chat, and thank you all for your preparation and participation. Thanks, Amin.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Catherine. Well, it's a pleasure working with all of you amazing people around the world, and it is the team that it's going to make all this happen. So as we bring day 2 of the Global Advanced Air Mobility Forum 2025 to a close, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all today's incredible speakers, panelists, and participants. Well, today we heard from 25 liaisons representing recent advancements in advanced air mobility from around the world, as well as our keynote and guest speakers. I would also like to thank our moderator here, David Levin, for expertly guiding us through the day's discussion. Well, but we are not done yet. So day 3 begins tomorrow, January 23rd at 3:30 a.m. 3:30 a.m. UTC, and it will be moderated by Fawad Masood. Tomorrow's session will continue to build on the critical topics we discussed about regional updates around the world. And so thank you again for being a part of today's journey, and have a wonderful evening and afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.